Verl Johansson, KSL News Radio.
A new state superintendent was chosen last night by the State Board of Education. Dr. Molly Hart has been named as the new state superintendent in a board meeting yesterday where she was interviewed.
We absolutely need to remember what our North Star is. Our North Star is academic achievement, academic excellence for all students.
Dr. Hart has over 20 years of experience in education, serving in roles from teacher to principal in several states and across grade levels, and currently is the executive director of Summit Academy. She will step into her new role next month. The Salt Lake City School District is taking the first steps in revamping its high schools. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
The district has issued several bonds from the $730 million allocated last year to fix infrastructure and complete new projects. West High is getting a complete makeover set to start in March 2026, and it will take 5 to 7 years to complete. Highland High School will also be getting rebuilt, but that shouldn't take as long. $40 million will be going to East High, which will be used to build a new field house. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
2 Utah men are facing charges after police say they stole $70,000 in cash from a laundromat in Idaho Falls. Thomas Jeffrey Ward and Jimmy Jack Olson are accused of breaking into the building last year at the 4th of July. Charging documents say the pair drove to Idaho with the intention of robbing that business. KSL's top national stories. Multiple people are believed to be dead after a small private jet hit a neighborhood in San Diego this morning. ABC's Alex Stone is in Southern California with the latest.
Rescue teams and the FAA are right now trying to figure out how many people were on board the plane. They believe it was more than one who died in the plane, but San Diego Assistant Fire Chief Dan Eddy says incredibly nobody inside the homes was seriously injured, even though it happened before 4 a.m. while people were asleep in their beds.
We were lucky in that fact that no one from those homes was injured.
The plane was landing in dense fog. Alex Stone, ABC News.
ABC News contributor and aviation analyst John Nance says it's not that strange that the jet was flying this early in the morning, but other questions remain.
One of the questions here is what kind of instrument approach he was on, because he checked in about 3 miles out, and at that point in time, as far as we know, everything was okay. This is a very sophisticated business jet. It's been around for quite a while. They're very reliable, and with all the instrumentation necessary to make a foggy landing. But what happened here is really puzzling.
Nance says the NTSB will likely launch a team out of D.C. to investigate. Other national stories KSL is following. A suspect is in custody after 2 Israeli embassy staffers were shot and killed last night while leaving an event at the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington. ABC News Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas reports.
Shots outside the Capitol Jewish Museum, killing a young couple, Yaron Lashinsky and his girlfriend, Sarah Milgram. We spoke with Katie and Yoni, who were inside the museum at the time of the shooting.
He reaches into his backpack and pulls out a keffiyeh and says, I did it. I did this for Gaza.
He wanted the cops to come in, and then he wanted to say, I did it.
And a critical piece of evidence that could point to motive, something the suspect said, suggesting an apparent obsession with the Israeli-Hamas conflict.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, the highest-ranking Jewish elected official in the U.S., says anti-Semitism has reared its ugly head again.
The sickening, cold-blooded murder of 2 Jewish staffers from the Israeli embassy seems to be another horrific incident of anti-Semitism, which we all know is much too rampant in our society.
We will discuss the possible charges for the shooter later this hour with KSL legal analyst Greg Skordas. Make sure you tune in at 12:45. Rabbi Avrami Zippel here in Utah posted a statement last night about the shootings in Washington. He invites the community to join him in prayer and good deeds for the unfolding situation. He also wrote, the young adult generation has been among the most impacted since October 7th. He's referring to the Hamas attack against Israel. First Look Traffic. Good afternoon, Ricky.
Good afternoon, Maria. Graduation delays again today on Highway 89 going southbound to the I-84 junction in Weber County, and an accident being cleared. This is Redwood Road near California Avenue. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:05.
The most important part of all our news stories at KSL are the people involved. Introducing an expanded new news show. Listen to Midday with Maria Shilaos. Listen in your car between noon and 3 on KSL News Radio.
Are you looking for the perfect downtown lunch spot? The Garden Restaurant is opening on June 30th in Salt Lake City. Enjoy a reimagined space and a fresh, healthy menu featuring handcrafted sandwiches, rich soups, unique salads, and their famous homemade pot pies. You'll see and taste the difference in every menu item. The Garden is perfect for lunch meetings, taking a break while out shopping, or a spring stroll downtown. Visit the reimagined space with remarkable taste. Grab and go or stay and dine in using a new online ordering option. Find entry from the ground floor of the Joseph Smith Memorial Building, open Monday through Friday, 11 to 3. Visit thegardenslc.com to learn more. Fresh flavors, iconic location. The Garden Restaurant is opening June 30th. Hope to see you there. Visit thegardenslc.com to learn more. thegardenslc.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness.
Thank you for joining us for Midday. Parents in the Granite School District say it might be time for the district to split after officials say that they'll possibly look at closing some schools. KSL News Time 12:08. Federal forecasters are anticipating another active hurricane season this year as areas of the U.S. continue to recover from last year's devastating season.
Improved technology and modeling brought a near-perfect prediction to the 2024 Atlantic storm season. In 2025, National Weather Service Director Ken Graham is expecting 13 to 19 named storms, those with winds above 39 miles per hour.
Of these, 6 to 10 are forecast to become hurricanes, and 3 to 5 is the number of major hurricanes as Cat 3 and above.
Hurricane season starts June 1st, but Graham is urging people living along the coast to prepare emergency kits now. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
The outlook here in Utah is a little dry, but KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says a Memorial Day weekend will be great for festivities.
Dry again tomorrow, 80 degrees, mostly sunny. Now, you work into Saturday, there's going to be a small system that clips northern Utah. It'll put down a couple of showers in the mountains. I'm going mostly cloudy for the Wasatch, 30% chance for a shower, 77 the high. Looks like dry weather on Sunday, but eastern Utah could see some showers out there. Highs in the 70s and 80s. Memorial Day itself, right now looking dry, 86, mostly sunny. Not bad at all.
Matt says today we should see a high of 84, and it will be a bit breezy this afternoon. Utah County search and rescue teams are getting in some critical training ahead of the busy summer season. Sergeant Dallin Turner tells KSL-TV they're expecting Bridal Veil Falls to be a hot spot.
Those rocks are wet, and they're always wet. Sometimes they got some moss growing on them, and they're just slippery. So they're not prepared for that with the proper footwear.
They are undergoing some swiftwater rescue training now just ahead of the Memorial Day, which is typically the kickoff for the busy season. A Farmington family was shocked to find a moose in their backyard this week, but the poor thing was injured. Division of Wildlife Resources was unable to tranquilize the animal and treat some of its minor wounds before they were able to tranquilize it and treat it before transporting it to a safe place. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. Good afternoon, Ricky.
Good afternoon, Maria. For those traveling the Valley freeways, you are good to go. No accidents, no delays. However, if you're in Weber County, we do have southbound delays again today. Highway 89 likely with graduation. This is from about the Walmart down to the I-84 junction. One accident, it's in the cleanup stages. This is going to be on Redwood Road northbound at about 1700 South near California Avenue, and we do have lanes still blocked in that area. See American Mosaic. This outdoor patriotic show combines talents of Jenny Oaks Baker, Ben Lomu, BYU folk dancers, and more, celebrating God, country, and culture. June 9th, tickets at jennyoaksbaker.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Running 10 to 12 degrees warmer today with a high of 84. Mostly sunny and a slight breeze out of the south. 54 in the overnight, mostly clear skies. We'll go 80 tomorrow afternoon, mostly sunny. Increased cloud cover on Saturday afternoon, 77 with a slight chance for a shower. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And a lot of sunshine, 75 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. And still to come on Midday with Maria Shilaos. We're going to tell you about a warning about some allergy medications. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. And this portion of our news sponsored by Soldier Hollow Sheepdog Classic. Matthew Heimberger is with me. Thank you so much for being here to tell us about this great fun event.
Oh, I'm so excited to be with you, Maria.
So you told me the sheep have arrived.
They came in yesterday on transport trucks, and they came up to Midway and were unloaded down a ramp. And the second they hit the ground, they leaped into the air 6 or 8 feet, each one of them. It was like running of the bulls, but it was the running of the sheep. And they had freedom, and they saw the green grasses, and they're ready to go, I think.
For those folks who have not been up to this event, kind of describe how wonderful it is. I mean, for me, it's just so compelling to watch how those wonderful dogs herd those sheeps down the mountainside.
Yeah, it's a surprise when you first hear about it. You think, well, that can't be too interesting, but it is fascinating because this is a way of life for the people that are competing in it. It's not just a sport to them, it's how they live. And so these are some of the best handlers from around the world, some of the most highly trained dogs. And what they're doing at this competition is doing what they do out on the ranch, but now doing it in front of a crowd and doing it for points and doing it very precisely. These border collies, which are 30 or 40 pounds, pushing 1,000 pounds of mutton here at one point, around the course up in Soldier Hollow. So through an obstacle course, taking them up and down, left, right, bringing them eventually down to a shedding ring, and then eventually, if they have time, because there's a clock running down, into a pen. It's a quiet event. It seems like Wimbledon because people are so focused on they can't believe what they're seeing. Yeah,
right.
But then if they make it into that pen, eruptions and cheers, and it's exciting. Oh my goodness.
You know what? It's interesting when you say people from around the world. We know it's a big deal when people will come from around the world here to Soldier Hollow.
Yeah, this is a championship level event. So there are events around the world that started in the 1860s in New Zealand and spread to Australia, Great Britain, and around the world. But these particular handlers are the best of the best. And so they had to be invited. They had to have some success. And so you're going to see some of the most highly trained and impressive human-canine relationships. And you'll see it right in front of your eyes, real time, in a beautiful setting.
We're going to be talking to you throughout the hour, but before I let you go here, we're going to talk about some of the other fun activities you have going on during the festival for kids especially. But tell people how they can find out more if they want to find out more right now.
Well, you can go to our website. That is soldierhollowclassic.com, and you'll find everything there, and it'll tell you about not only the competition, the competitors, their names, their backgrounds, but also all those things that are fun for the family that are going on in the festival behind.
Great to have you here. Happy to learn more.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
If you've got a honey-do list with electrical, plumbing, heating, or air conditioning projects on it, Any Hour Services can help. Call Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air. AnyHourServices.com.
KSL News Time 12:15. The three things you need to know this hour first.
The Granite School District is considering closing some schools on the east side, but some parents say it might be time to split the district. I'm KSL News Radio's Verl Johansson.
Second, the Salt Lake Downtown Alliance and Mayor Aaron Mendenhall are working on a partnership to help manage and bring people back to Pioneer Park. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
Lanes blocked with an accident northbound Redwood Road at 1700 South. It is causing a little bit of backup in the area. Valley Freeway traffic, though, rolling along and looking good. Ricky Neese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Back to the 80s today, but a slight breeze. I'm Matt Johnson.
Sunny, 75 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A small plane crashing into a San Diego neighborhood in dense fog. Jet fuel all over the ground, homes and cars burning. ABC's Alex Stone has more.
It was around 3:45 in the morning when a small jet was landing at Montgomery Gibbs Executive Airport in San Diego, and it hit a neighborhood just short of the runway, skidding down the street, spreading fire and debris as it moved down the street. San Diego Assistant Fire Chief Dan Eddy on the homes that were hit.
We have probably, I'd say, on that block itself, at least 15 homes that are affected.
It's not clear yet how many people were on the plane or any injuries on the ground. Alex Stone, ABC News.
The House of Representatives passing the Republican spending bill that President Trump has pushed the GOP to get over the finish line early this morning. Speaker Mike Johnson, before the vote, said it'll be good for the U.S. economy.
The people of our country, they deserve better. We've been working hard to deliver so that the people of our country see this again as a shining city on a hill.
But Maryland Democrat Jamie Raskin says the poor will suffer.
There's nothing beautiful or big about stripping 14 million Americans of their health care or removing food security from 11 million people, including 4 million kids. That's ugly. That's small.
The bill now moves on to the Senate. Weekly jobless benefits falling last week from the week before. There is a suspect in custody in the deadly shooting outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington last night. Yaron Lashinsky and his girlfriend, Sarah Milgram, were both killed.
The young couple gunned down at close range after leaving a celebration of young Jewish diplomats. A massive investigation now underway with the FBI trying to determine motive and whether there are any ties to terrorist organizations. Evidence suggesting an apparent obsession with the Israeli-Hamas conflict.
ABC Chief Law and Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas in Washington. The Dow is up 40 points this hour. You're listening to ABC News.
Time for the KSL In-Depth. The FDA is warning about a rare but severe reaction to certain over-the-counter allergy medications. ABC News Chief Medical Correspondent Tara Narula explains.
And we're talking about Zyrtec and Xyzal. So the FDA is basically putting out a warning that they are going to require prescribers to put on the labels that says that rarely, if you have used these drugs for days, months, weeks, years, you can develop a side effect if you stop the drugs, where you develop itching. The itching can be widespread. It happens usually within a few days of stopping the drug, and in some cases it did require medical intervention. Now, most of these cases occurred with Zyrtec. Most, on average, were in people who had used the drug for about 33 months. We don't really know the mechanism, but to keep it in perspective, in 2022 there were over 60 million of these packages bought over the counter, over 26 million prescriptions, and from 2017 to 2023 there were only 209 cases of this worldwide. So we're talking about something that's very rare overall.
The FDA says going back on the drug and weaning off slowly can help ease the itching after a reaction. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. Ricky Meese, what's happening on the roads?
Well, we've got delays on US 89 northbound if you're heading from Layton all the way up to the Harrison Boulevard turnoff into Ogden. We also have a crash on Redwood Road near California Avenue. It is blocking several lanes of travel, and you've got delays in all directions. Police are on the scene. They may be directing traffic there. Everybody else looking pretty good for the most part if you're traveling I-15 through Utah, Salt Lake, and Davis counties. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort, too, with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. That got 80s back in the forecast today. Mostly sunny skies with a high of 84 and a slight breeze out of the south. Tomorrow, beautiful, mostly sunny, 80 degrees. 77 with afternoon clouds on Saturday with a 30% chance for a shower. 79, mostly sunny on Sunday. We've got 86, mostly sunny on Monday. Tuesday, 86, partly cloudy skies. We're up to 88 on Wednesday, mix of sun and clouds. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now it's sunny and 75 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick check of the markets at this hour. Yay, I'm seeing a lot of positive numbers after yesterday's negative day. A complete update of your money news is coming up next.
Do you need new windows? Look, all glass pretty much looks the same to the naked eye, but if your windows aren't triple-coated, argon-filled and sealed double-pane glass, the cold is seeping in. You need to call Advanced Window Products. They use the highest quality glass and premium vinyl to create state-of-the-art windows and frames, and for 38 years, they build those frames right here in Utah. Custom crafted for Utah's climate. The best windows you can buy at prices 30 and 40% less than what the big companies charge because they cut out the middleman. They're the factory. They even give you a lifetime warranty, and right now as we head into spring, save an extra $2,500 off 10 windows or more. Custom windows that'll give your house a fresh new look and save you money on your heating and air conditioning. Advanced Windows offers 60-month 0% financing, even buy now, pay later, and an extra $2,500 off. Call for a quote, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Summer is almost here. It's time to get in the best shape of your life with Soda Weight Loss.
Hey there.
You're looking good.
My name is Corey Sulian. My wife and I began our soda weight loss journey on January 20th of this year. We have seen some amazing results. I have lost 59.4 pounds. My wife lost 30.3 pounds, and we feel great.
It's time to spring into summer with Soda Weight Loss, because right now you'll get our biggest discount of the year.
Every single day, Soda Weight Loss is helping people let go of the weight without drugs, without hunger, and the weight stays off.
I love Soda Weight Loss. Thank you for helping to change our lives. I highly recommend it for anybody who wants to lose weight or get healthy.
Get started now at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Teens can get up to $200 with a Teen Learn and Earn account. Plus, continue earning rewards as they master the essentials of finance. More at cypresscu.com/teen.
KSL News Time 1224. The commencement speaker for the University of Maryland's class of 2025 will be extra special.
Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog here.
Muppets creator Jim Henson actually graduated from the school in 1960 after majoring in home economics. I know that you know Kermit. The university says he fashioned the original frog puppet from one of his mother's coats and a ping pong ball cut in half. A bronze statue of him and Kermit sitting on a bench is a well-known feature of the College Park campus. Watching Utah's money, luxury brand Dior is paying out $2.3 million to help victims of labor exploitation. It comes after an investigation in two of the brand's working units. The investigation revealed workshops with overworked and underpaid workers. A new lawsuit against Workday is claiming the job applicant screening technology is discriminatory. The plaintiffs say they were rejected for multiple jobs within minutes, all because of their race, age, or disability. Company is denying the claims, but the ruling could set a precedent for whether companies can use tech to screen job applicants. Expect your shoes to be more expensive. Not my shoes, too. Nike says the company will be raising prices, and those increases will hit as early as this week. They did not specify if the increase is tariff-related, but currently half of its footwear is manufactured in China and Vietnam. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow up by nearly 200 points, up 0.5%, sitting at 42,058. S&P is up by 26, and the Nasdaq's up by 156 points. And an Eagle Mountain resident and a lot of friends are going to try and set a record today.
For several years, Ben Line has been known as @runner guy with a sign after he started running around town carrying a sign that reads, "I believe in you." Today, he's asking friends and neighbors to make a motivational sign and join him as he tries to set a record of 1 mile of people holding motivational signs.
Show up, have some free Chick-fil-A. We'll have some what we call aid stations, set up like a canopy or a tent every few hundred feet or so. And we have poster board and markers at each one. So no matter where people are lining up, they should be close enough. If they didn't bring their own sign, they can make a sign.
The event begins at 3:30 on a trail between Cedar Valley High School and Frontier Middle School. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time 1226, and this news is sponsored by the Soldier Hollow Sheepdog Classic, and that is because this great event is getting underway tomorrow. With me, Matthew Heimberger. We were talking just a few minutes ago about just how wonderful it is to sit and watch those dogs herd those sheep down the mountain. But there are also a lot of really cool, fun things. Corey, my technical producer today, is saying you've got to ask him about the duck herding. What is this with duck herding?
Well, it's self-explanatory, isn't it?
Not really, no. Who herds the ducks?
So duck herding is kind of an event for dogs that are in training. So the dogs that are going to competing at the highest level are really, really well trained, but you've got to get there somehow, right? So you start young, you start early, and you start herding ducks, which goes about as well as you could imagine it would. They move the ducks around, and it's just a joy to watch. Ducks don't want to be herded, and so the kids especially love watching that competition.
So what other fun stuff do you have?
Oh my goodness, we have raptor shows, we have carting and weaving demonstrations, we have agility demonstrations by dogs that are fast and adept at all kinds of little obstacle courses. There's all kinds of food, all wonderful merchandise that's been brought in from far and wide, some of it related to the dog competition itself, but others just fun international fare that befits an international Olympic venue.
Right. I know one year when I was up there, there was somebody up there demonstrating dog training.
Yes.
Yes, that was really intense.
Well, we actually have veterinarians that'll be on site to answer anyone's questions. If you have a dog and you want to know why does she do this or why does he do that, Purina Pro Plan is one of our big sponsors this year, and they're going to actually have their top vet just sitting in a tent there to answer your questions and help you improve your own experience at home.
Okay, so if someone's going to head up, do they need to get tickets in advance? Kind of give us the process.
The tickets are available at the door. That's easy, but if you want to save a little money, you can go online and purchase them beforehand, and you'll save a few bucks on that. As I mentioned, it's well attended, but it's a large area. There's plenty of seats. There's no bad seats. Plenty of parking. We even have ADA assistance to help those get from the parking lot up to where they want to be. They've redesigned the Olympic facility this year in preparation for 2034. So it's just really a wonderful venue to sit and watch this. And
okay. Online, where do we get the tickets?
SoldierHollowClassic.com.
Okay, we'll talk to you more in just a few minutes.
Looking forward to it.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. What's happening on the roads, Ricky?
Now seeing northbound delays on Highway 89 from SR 193 up to I-84, and the southbound delays have continued from the Walmart down to the Uinta South Weber area at that same junction. These are graduation delays, so plan ahead and give yourself a lot of extra travel time. And for those on the Valley freeways, you're good to go, but we still have the cleanup of the crash northbound Redwood Road at about 1700 South. Lagoon is hiring ride maintenance technicians and electricians with journeyman or apprentice level experience. Apply online today at lagoonpark.com/jobs. Must be 18 or older to apply. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Calling for mostly sunny skies today and a high of 84, a touch breezy out of the south. 54 overnight, mostly clear skies. We'll go 80 tomorrow, mostly sunny, and then mostly cloudy on Saturday, 77, with a 30% chance for a shower. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon, KSL News Time 1230. KSL's top story. Pioneer Park may soon be more than just a weekend destination. Salt Lake City and the Downtown Alliance just unveiled a big plan to breathe new life into this space. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera is live with what's coming. Eric?
Maria, think lawn games, a public market hall, a beverage bar, and bathrooms that are actually open and staffed. The Downtown Alliance and Salt Lake City Mayor Aaron Mendenhall just signed an agreement to explore a public-private partnership aimed at transforming Pioneer Park into a safe, active, everyday community hub. Downtown Alliance Executive Director Dee Brewer says they want to move fast.
If we can get to the contracting in this year, we hope next year is a time for what I'll call pre-development and the philanthropic initiative.
Brewer says the park already comes alive every summer Saturday for the farmers market, and this plan builds on that success. With new upgrades already scheduled for construction this fall, Mayor Mendenhall said it's time Pioneer Park becomes a true year-round gathering space. Live in Salt Lake City, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Rose Park Elementary and Bike Utah are teaming up to paint raptor routes. These paths will highlight the best places for students to walk and bike and hopefully increase visibility for drivers. Seth Common is the Community Engagement and Education Manager at Bike Utah.
Part of what we're doing is we're coming in with these students and we're putting the footprints in at lots of different crossings. Students in this neighborhood are now going to know the safest places to cross, and that's great.
He tells KSL TV this step is just part of a year-long Safe Routes to School planning process between Rose Park Elementary, Bike Utah, and Salt Lake City. Utah State University researchers are raising alpacas with the intention of finding a cure for cancer.
Alpacas have a unique immune system. Professor Zongde Wang says they have very small antibodies, small enough to go places our antibodies can't, like into the brain or cancer cells. However, we can't just start using those antibodies right away.
Human patient will recognize the foreign antibody and generate immune response.
The antibodies will need to be manipulated beforehand, which will take a while because they have to literally raise an alpaca. He says they hope to have this first part completed in the next 2 years. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Approval from the FDA for the new Alzheimer's diagnostic test has local advocates excited. KSL spoke with the executive director of the Alzheimer's Association Utah chapter, Stacy Colt.
That we now have a few initial treatments that are going after the disease itself. It's finally kind of bringing a little sliver of hope to a very difficult disease, a horrible disease, and it's an exciting time, which normally you don't kind of put the word exciting in the same sentence of, Alzheimer's and other dementias.
The Utah chapter operates a helpline for anyone who needs resources or help. KSL's top national stories. House Republicans passed President Trump's proposed budget bill this morning by one vote. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers has reaction from President Trump.
President Trump is celebrating the House passing the, quote, One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the sweeping package of tax cuts, Medicaid reform, and immigration spending that delivers on many of his key campaign promises. The president writing on social media that this is, quote, the most significant piece of legislation that will ever be signed in the history of our country. He thanked House Speaker Mike Johnson for getting it through. The bill now goes to the Senate, where Republican lawmakers have said they will be making changes. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
House Speaker Mike Johnson took a victory lap after that vote.
We stand ready to continue our work together to deliver on the One Big Beautiful Bill, as President Trump named it himself. We're going to send that to his desk. We're going to get it there by Independence Day on July 4th, and we are going to celebrate a new golden age in America.
Utah Congresswoman Celeste Malloy also showed her support for the bill.
This bill reins in federal spending levels by rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse, and strengthens our economy by ensuring that working American families can thrive without overburdensome taxes or costly regulations. We're moving the economy and the government in the right direction.
It's actually Malloy's birthday, and she says staying up all night with her colleagues and passing the bill were both of her birthday wishes. Utahns who help feed people in need say they have serious concerns about the SNAP program if the budget bill ends up on the president's desk. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
The president's spending bill makes changes to who can receive SNAP benefits, which we used to call food stamps. But what concerns the executive director of Utahns Against Hunger the most is it shifts who pays for part of the program.
Right now, the federal government pays 100% of SNAP benefit. This bill shifts some of that cost to state. Utah would have to pay $20 million in order to have a SNAP program.
Gina Cornea says they've had problems in the past getting the legislature to fund certain summer EBT programs, and this is a lot more money. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
Time for First Look Traffic. What's going on, Ricky?
They've cleared the accident northbound Redwood Road near California Avenue. All lanes should be open. Also, a report of a crash being mopped up downtown 3rd West and 4th South. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 1236.
We have your news and weather all morning and all afternoon. And now, 3 hours of news about the people of Utah. Join us for Midday with Maria Shilaos, expanded to noon to 3 on KSL News Radio.
If you talk and they will hear you.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
So talk, they hear you. You can do it if you try.
Thank you for joining us for Midday. The Salt Lake Downtown Alliance and Mayor Aaron Mendenhall are working on a partnership to help manage and help bring people back to Pioneer Park. That's our top story this hour. KSL News Time, 1237. The mother of a man prosecutors say was shot and killed by his brother-in-law in a planned setup testified yesterday. Diane Rastelli says that her son, Matt Rastelli, was not overly upset on his drive to American Fork from California to pick up his wife, and she doesn't think that this shooting was self-defense.
Because Kevin was the shooter, you know, and everything happened so quickly. Obviously, somebody was prepared
to use a gun.
Yes.
The shooting happened at Matt's mother-in-law's home where his wife had been staying. Prosecutors claim that it was a setup between his wife, mother-in-law, and brother-in-law, pointing to an internet search history, texts, and Matt being shot in the back. We have a developing news story here that we first brought you yesterday afternoon regarding a civil lawsuit against BYU quarterback Jake Retzloff. Now, the lawsuit by an anonymous woman accuses him of rape. His attorney denies that claim, and Retzloff has not been criminally charged. But the lawsuit also called out Provo police, saying an officer discouraged the woman from pursuing the case. KSL News Radio's Vril Johansson shares the department's response.
The lawsuit says after the woman identified Retzloff as the person who allegedly raped her, quote, the Provo police then encouraged her not to do anything. Provo police say the claims officers discouraged her from moving forward with the case are false. In a statement, police say they followed up with the woman several times to offer their services. They say the department does not turn people away, adding their special victims unit regularly brings justice to victims through their investigations. Provo police say they haven't been served any legal filing related to the case. Vril Johansson, KSL News Radio.
A federal judge in Boston has blocked the Trump administration's effort to dismantle the Department of Education.
The judge saying basically that the Trump administration can't dismantle an agency without an act of Congress. Congress created the agency so that this is yet again another, if temporary, setback for the Trump administration delivered by an individual judge in a district court case. At least for now, slowing down efforts to overhaul the federal government here in Washington.
That is ABC's Devin Dwyer reporting. Traffic and weather together brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. Let's check in again with Ricky Meese.
It's a really nice drive on all the Valley freeways and most of our main secondaries like Bangor Highway, Legacy Parkway, but one main secondary, it is a drag. It's due to graduation delays in Davis and Weber counties. You'll see slowdowns northbound Highway 89 from SR 193 up to the I-84 junction, and southbound delays easing a bit, and then they fill right back in. So don't be surprised if you see southbound slowdowns Highway 89 from the Walmart down to I-84. all other problems have been cleared, including the crash that we had northbound on Redwood Road at near California Avenue. All tickets are on sale now, so claim your spot and start planning your perfect Park City night. Details at DeerValleyMusicFestival.org. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A very weak low-pressure system passing by to the north. That'll kick up a little bit of a south breeze, but warming temperatures to 84 today. Mostly sunny skies. 54 in the overnight. We'll go 80 tomorrow. Mostly sunny. Headed into Saturday, 77, mostly cloudy. Slight chance for a shower. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
A lot of sunshine, 78 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. And still to come on Midday, we will be speaking with Greg Skordas. He's going to talk about that case in Washington, D.C., where the two staff members of the Israeli embassy were killed last night. The suspect reportedly chanted support for Palestine. We'll hear more from Greg, get his legal take coming up next.
Summer is almost here. It's time to get in the best shape of your life with Soda Weight Loss.
Hey there. You're looking good. My name is Corey Sulian. My wife and I began our Soda weight loss journey on January 20th of this year. We have seen some amazing results. I have lost 59.4 pounds. My wife lost 30.3 pounds, and we feel great.
It's time to spring into summer with Soda Weight Loss, because right now you'll get our biggest discount of the year.
Every single day, Soda Weight Loss is helping people let go of the weight without drugs, without hunger, and the weight stays off.
I love Soda Weight Loss. Thank you for helping to change our lives. I highly recommend it for anybody who wants to lose weight or get healthy.
Get started now at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
The KSL Movie Show comes to Fat Cats in Clinton, 2062 West, 1800 North, this Friday from 10 to 1. Starting in June at Fat Cats, bring the family for the Flashback Summer Series, featuring classic movies back on the big screen with easy summer pricing. Just $5 per ticket to see favorites like The Goonies, Top Gun, and Karate Kid. Fat Cats flashback movies run Monday through Thursday nights all summer long. Relive great movie moments from back in the day while you relax in their all-luxury recliner theaters. Order handmade pizzas, burgers, or salad from the Fat Cats Grill, and they'll deliver it right to your seat at no extra charge. Fat Cats always makes it a premium movie experience at a price families can afford. Fat Cat Cinemas in Clinton, Bluffdale, and Saratoga Springs. Learn more about a Fat Cats experience at fatcatsfun.com. That's fatcatsfun.com.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
KSL News Time, 1245. The 3 things you need to know this hour first.
The FDA has approved a new blood test to more accurately and quickly diagnose Alzheimer's. This will also allow for earlier treatment options for many Utahns. I'm KSL News Radio's Michelle Rowe.
Second, the president's spending bill changes how the SNAP program is paid for, meaning the state would need to come up with millions to keep that program going. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
Delays on Highway 89. These are due to graduation, we believe. If you need to get to a ceremony, leave early. It's still heavy and slow northbound Highway 89 between SR 193 up to the Walmart. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mid-80s today, but a couple of 70s over the weekend. I'm Matt Johnson.
Sunny and 78 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time for KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In California, at least 2 were dead after a plane crashed into a military housing unit in San Diego today. Authorities say no one on the ground was killed, but 8 others were injured. Here's ABC's Alex Stone.
After the plane hit Jessica Schrader's neighborhood, there was jet fuel on fire flowing down the street. Fire in her front yard and a dead pilot, she says, outside of her front door. She escaped with her children and dogs by going over their back fence. Their neighbors set up a ladder.
So we were able to climb the ladder and jump onto their trampoline.
The cause of the crash remains under investigation. In D.C., a suspected shooter in custody for that shooting death of the 2 Israeli embassy staffers last night, gunned down as they left an event at the Capitol Jewish Museum. President Trump says the anti-Semitic killings must end. The storm system that left a trail of destruction in the Midwest and South now churning on the East Coast as a nor'easter that could impact travel this Memorial Day weekend. This is ABC News.
KSL News Time is 12:46, and this portion of our news is sponsored by the Soldier Hollow Sheepdog Classic. Matthew Heimberger has been with us this hour talking about all the great things that are happening. You're going to have great weather for this weekend. It's all 3 days, right?
Oh, yeah. It's actually 4 days.
So 4 days.
The first 3 days are preliminary events. You've got 45 dogs that go out each day and get run through the paces. They take 5 sheep around, and then the top 7 from each of those days qualifies for the final. And that's on Monday. And then instead of just 5 sheep, they're taking out 16 sheep that are hit on a couple different locations. They have to do all these crazy things with large groups, bring them down into the shedding ring, which is where you separate some from others. And then the 5 that are wearing collars, it's kind of like the sneeches, the collar-wearing sneeches. You take those 5, only those 5, into a pen. So, yeah, it's great.
Okay, we've been talking about all the wonderful events like the duck herding. You have a lot of animals there. Best to leave animals home?
Yeah, it's a good idea. In fact, we kind of ask you to do that. If you've got these high-level athlete dogs out on the course, and if there were a lot of other dogs behind barking their approval, that might not go well. So we ask people to leave their pets at home. But there's so much at the festival and at the competition that's geared towards the canine experience that there'll be plenty of companionship if you are missing Fido at home. There's a petting zoo, by the way, that the kids can work with as well. So there's other animals, other demonstrations, but yeah, as far as the dogs go, we ask you to keep them at home.
Describe the hard work of these border collies. I mean, it's amazing to watch them.
Yeah, so it's an open trial, which technically means anybody could bring any dog if they could qualify, mind you. But you're not going to see any Chihuahuas. You're not going to see any Basset Hounds. The Border Collie is the dog that has been bred and has been trained and to be able to do this at the highest level. The only other breed that I've ever seen in a competition like this is an Australian Kelpie. And so they can also be trained, but the Border Collie just does it at the highest level. So that's what you'll see. But lots of variations in color, size, temperament, so lots of variety still. But the Border Collie is king.
And these dogs come from around the world with their trainers, which to me is fascinating as well. But tell people the days, the times, and how they can get tickets.
Yeah, we're starting up tomorrow. The gate opens at about 8 o'clock. Some people come a little bit early, by the way. Starting at 8 goes till about 5, although sometimes we end a little bit early if the runs go a little bit faster. You can go to soldierhollowclassic.com and get tickets. You can get tickets at the door, too, but if you get them early online, you get a discount. Purina is our big sponsor this year on their Pro Plan program. You'll see their signs all over the place. They'll be on site to answer questions, all kinds of other vendors, all kinds of good food, all kinds of distractions. But really, Maria, you'll just be focused on what's in front of you.
And great weather.
Oh,
okay,
yes.
and the mountains, perfect place to be. Matthew, thanks for being with me.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's get you up to date on traffic and weather. It's brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. Here's Ricky Meese.
We are still enjoying a quiet ride on all the Valley freeways, including north and southbound I-15 in Weber, Davis, and Salt Lake and Utah counties. However, in Utah County, we've had some backups. And this is likely due to road work in that right lane of traffic going westbound on Corey Ride Highway SR 73, going from Foothill Boulevard over to the ranches on the way to Eagle Mountain. Now, for those up north, the delays are thinning out and they are easing on Highway 89, both directions, approaching the I-84 junction. So it looks like traffic speeds are improving in that portion of Weber County. Create a sanctuary in the yard with bedding plants from Olson's Greenhouse. Locally grown quality flowers to adorn containers on the porch, beds, or patio. For tips and ideas, visit ogg.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast starting out on the warm side. 84, mostly sunny skies and a light breeze out of the south today. 80 tomorrow, mostly sunny. We got increased cloud cover on Saturday afternoon. 30% chance for a shower and a little bit cooler, 77. 79, mostly sunny skies on Sunday. Memorial Day, mostly sunny, 86. We're going to keep those mid and upper 80s through Tuesday and even Wednesday next week. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now in downtown Salt Lake City, a lot of sunshine and 78 degrees. In Ogden, 74. Park City, a pleasant 67 degrees. It's going to be a beautiful weekend to head up to Soldier Hollow for that Sheepdog Classic. And right now, 78 degrees downtown. Taking a quick check of your money news at this hour. A lot of green in the markets. We'll get you a complete update coming up next.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Any Hour Services can help unclog any drain in your house, whether you have a backup, a clog, or a slow drain you want fixed. Call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
This great weather we're experiencing just makes me so grateful that I was able to take off 40 pounds with the help of Salt Lake City Fat Loss. You know what? I don't have back spasms when I'm working out in the yard. I don't have back spasms when I'm working in my house. My digestion is better. I sleep better. And if you want to lose weight quickly with an all-natural program, this one's for you. Like I said, I lost more than 40 pounds, 25 of those in the first 60 days, and many people lose up to a pound per day. With Salt Lake City Fat Loss, there are no injections, surgery, or medications, and it's not as expensive as other programs because there are no prepackaged meals or other products that you're required to buy. You are going to love their app. It's inspirational. It gives you recipes. It makes you accountable. And this program is just a simple combination of foods that melt the stored fat quickly, so it's easy to stick with. Find out more and save $200 now by going to slcfatloss.com. And you can also call 801-450-1882. Again, slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com.
Hi, it's Tori DeVito. In every family, small conversations can make a big impact. I grew up on tour with my parents. Kind of different, but we bonded over music just like other families do over sports, camping, or other interests. And we talked. Little everyday conversations from silly to serious that built a foundation over time. Honest conversations, like when my dad shared his experiences as an alcoholic.
Your honesty about that part of your life gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted to uphold in my own life. And I was so grateful that you and Mom had become these sober, stable people who were always there for me.
I wanted you to know from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs, whether it's music or anything else. I said it a lot, and I'm glad you took it to heart.
Talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
KSL News Time 1254. Cinemark is bringing dirty soda to its Salt Lake City locations. Movie Theater has created 4 flavor fusions that will be available in the theater: Coconut Lime Delight, Orange Berry Blast, Lemon Berry Blast, and Beachy Berry Blast. You can get these at 6 Cinemark locations across the Salt Lake Valley. Watching Utah's Money, Dolly Parton is venturing out further into the food industry. She will be launching a series of single-serve frozen meals. TV dinners will reportedly deliver the authentic flavors of the South. Some of the meals include shrimp and grits, chicken and dumplings, and beef pot roast. Nestle says it's going to regroup and focus on core products after branching out into the health supplement industry. It could have an effect on the Nestle warehouse in Springville. Bitcoin made history yesterday with a record high of more than 111,800. Today it sits at 111,600. And your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 168 points, nearly 0.5%, sitting at 42,029. S&P, it's up by 23. The NASDAQ up 153 points.
Looking for a university that offers more than just a degree? Welcome to Utah Tech University in St. George, Utah, one of the fastest growing universities in the nation. With more than 300 academic programs, 300 days of sunshine, the most engaged student life in the state, and Utah's most affordable university tuition, Utah Tech is where opportunity meets value. Utah Tech's Polytechnic mission means you'll gain real-world skills through internships, mentorships, partnerships, and hands-on learning that gets you career-ready from day one. And the nation is taking notice. Utah Tech was recently named one of the country's most prestigious universities, driving student success and career growth, ranked 21st in the nation for value, and recognized as one of 10 prominent universities to watch. Come see why students are thriving at Utah Tech, where it's all about active learning, active life. Visit utahtech.edu today and start your journey.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at KSLNewsRadio.com/contests.
KSL News Time 12:59. Traffic and weather brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. What's happening, Ricky?
We do have a new accident. Looks like a single vehicle, and this is southbound I-15 in Sandy near 90th South. It has been moved out of traffic to the shoulder, but we are still waiting for emergency crews to respond. Whipple Service Champions, your cooling, heating, plumbing, drains, and electrical specialist. Whipple that away. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Forecast for the Wasatch Front, a high today of 84 degrees, just a very slight chance of a shower. Tomorrow, a little bit cooler at 80 degrees. Then on Saturday, we do have a 30% chance of showers in the high 77 degrees. Back up to 78 on Sunday. Monday, Memorial Day, up to 85 degrees. Right now, it's sunny, 78 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The massive federal spending bill passed in the early morning by the House of Representatives.
We stand ready to continue our work together to deliver on the one big, beautiful bill, as President Trump named it himself. We're going to send that to his desk. We're going to get it there by Independence Day on July 4th, and we are going to celebrate a new golden age in America.
The time is 1 o'clock on Thursday, May 22nd. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, reaction from Utahns and political leaders. Also this hour.
I love self-funded. I'm 100% for it, but we can do that with 2 districts. But we need a feasibility study.
Growing calls to split another Utah school district. But first, our top stories. Some parents and community members in the Granite School District think it might be time to split the district. KSL News Radio's Vril Johansson has more.
The district held a town hall last night at Wasatch Junior High to answer any questions people had after starting a population study, looking at whether to close some east side schools. Some parents suggested they want to know more about what it would look like if the district split. Superintendent Ben Horsley said the district could look into a feasibility study, then said the district could split, but it would cost taxpayers more money.
Horsley told Dave and Dujanovic they are considering closing schools because enrollment numbers are going down. Lawyers for Brian Kohberger, the University of Idaho murder suspect, want his trial postponed. His attorneys filed a 40-page motion where they state the disclosure of previously unreleased case details in an episode of NBC's Dateline may have violated the court's gag order. If Wednesday's motion is denied, jury selection would start in July and the trial would start in August. Kohberger is accused of killing 4 students in 2022, including Ethan Chapman of Skagit County. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. 2 people are believed dead after a small private jet hit a neighborhood in San Diego while landing this morning. Nearly a dozen homes were destroyed. Among the people displaced is Jessica Schrader.
I just kept hearing explosions, and the fire was up to, right in front of my front door.
ABC's Jacqueline Lee is in San Diego with more details.
More than 100 people displaced. They believe so far a Cessna 550 plane crashed into one of the largest military housing areas in the entire world. Think of it this way. This jet fuel starts spilling out from this plane. It goes all down the street and then it all catches on fire. So then all of the cars are on fire and there are more than 100 people that are having to escape from their homes to try to get out.
The plane hit the neighborhood in thick fog. Firefighters say nobody on the ground was injured. The Supreme Court has effectively ended a publicly funded Catholic charter school in Oklahoma, dividing 4-4. Today's outcome keeps in place an Oklahoma court decision that invalidated a vote by a state charter school board to approve a Catholic virtual school. The school would have been the nation's first religious charter school. The outcome leaves the issue unresolved nationally. Only 8 justices participated, with Justice Amy Coney Barrett sitting it out. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu released a video statement condemning last night's fatal shooting of 2 Israeli embassy staffers, a young couple who were shot and killed outside the Capital Jewish Museum. The Prime Minister says the couple had planned to marry.
Yaron had just bought an engagement ring for Sarah. He was planning to give it to her in Jerusalem next week.
The suspect was identified as 31-year-old Elias Rodriguez of Chicago. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 187 points, about 0.5%, sitting at 42,047. S&P 500 up by 28. The NASDAQ is up nearly a full percent, up 173 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. Here's Ricky Meese.
A small accident southbound I-15 near 90th South in Sandy over to the shoulder, and Salt Lake City PD responding to a crash, getting it cleared at Highland Drive and 2800 South. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A toasty day. We're supposed to hit 84 degrees today, down to 80 tomorrow. Saturday, though, we do have a slight chance of showers, about a 30% chance. Right now, 79 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Many people worry they're not making the right investment choices inside their 401ks.
Did you know that you might have a little-known opportunity to add some additional investment choices to your 401k and get the help and recommendations you've been looking for? This exciting feature is called a self-directed brokerage window. And the best part? The money still stays within your 401k. Learn how the trusted advisors at Capital Wealth may be able to expand your investment portfolio. To learn more, call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Improving your 401k might mean the difference of retiring a few years earlier. Let's find out. Schedule your no-cost 15-minute consultation with the Capital Wealth team today. Call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor.
At Social Security, we are always thinking of ways to save you time and make things easier. That's why we created My Social Security. A My Social Security account allows you to access your earnings history and benefits information, request a replacement Social Security card, get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Following several overnight meetings, pressure from the White House, and long speeches on the floor, the House of Representatives approved President Trump's big budget bill. Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The margin was thin, only one vote. ABC's Rachel Scott begins our in-depth coverage of the big, beautiful bill.
In the end, 2 Republicans voted against the bill, along with all Democrats. They could only afford to lose 3 Republicans. Next, the bill will head to the Senate, where it's likely to face even more challenges, so this is not a done deal yet.
The Republicans who voted against the bill were Representatives Thomas Massey of Kentucky and Warren Davidson of Ohio. Representative Andy Harris, the chairman of the House Freedom Caucus, voted present. On the House floor, Speaker Mike Johnson said the bill restores American standing in the world.
The people of our country, they deserve better. We've been working hard to deliver so that the people of our country see this again as a shining city on a hill.
Before the vote, Pennsylvania Republican Lloyd Smucker urged his fellow representatives to support the bill.
We are charting a bold new course for American prosperity. This bill not only builds on the pro-growth legacy of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, it prevents the largest tax hike in American history.
Maryland Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin, strongly against the bill, said it would cut public support to millions.
There's nothing beautiful or big about stripping 14 million Americans of their health care or removing food security from 11 million people, including 4 million kids. That's ugly. That's small.
Midday executive producer Andy Cupp joins me now to get more to the heart of the story. Now, how this bill could affect Utahns and how folks here are already responding. Andy?
So, Maria, Congressman Blake Moore wrote on X shortly after the budget passed the House at about 5 a.m. our time, saying it's the result of months of hard work, hours at field hearings and roundtable discussions, and a series of all-nighters. We might recall Representative Moore in that now famous video of him being woken up. He wrote on X, quote, "I worked to get on the Ways and Means and Budget Committees for this very moment to represent Utah in this historic effort to lower taxes for hardworking families and support our small business owners." Congressman Burgess Owens said that he was proud to pass the One Big Beautiful Bill, writing on social media that the bill puts our nation back on the right track. Even Governor Spencer Cox, he supports the passage of the bill. He was among 20 other Republican governors who sent a letter to President Trump supporting the Big Beautiful Bill. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more on that letter.
In the letter, the governors praised President Trump, saying the landmark legislation, quote, embodies your powerful vision to bring about the next great American revival, end quote. They say the American people support the bill and have seen the hard work President Trump has put in to secure the border and bring back fiscal sanity.
As you can expect, however, not everyone is in support of this plan. Big shocker. Gina Cornea with Utahns Against Hunger spoke to Debbie Dujanovic and Holly Richardson this morning, saying she thinks the bill will be bad for poorer Utahns.
Oh, absolutely, folks. There are going to be a lot of people who could lose benefits. I mean, what happens if states can't fund their portion of the cost share.
Right.
I mean, they're going to have to cut benefits. They're going to have to cut eligibility. And, in Utah, 44% of individuals who receive food stamp in Utah are 17 or younger. 20% of households have somebody with a disability. So, it's miserable for everyone.
But Utah's congressional delegation, they are in support of this bill. Utah Congresswoman Celeste Malloy sharing some of her thoughts.
It cuts waste and strengthens resource development, all while achieving significant fiscal savings. This bill's good for Utah, and it's good for America. The bill helps all Americans by helping us keep our borders secure, by providing law enforcement with the tools they need.
Andy, speaking of Representative Malloy, what happened to her amendment that would have sold some federal lands to counties in southern Utah?
So before the votes were taken, that amendment was removed. So it would have given local governments the chance to buy up federal pieces of land in Utah and Nevada. We actually spoke with Representative Malloy a couple weeks ago about this. KSL News Radio's Virl Johansson took a look at that development.
Lawmakers made the change last night as Republicans worked to get everyone in the party on board to pass the bill. The Deseret News reports the amendment would have sold off 11,000 acres of public lands in Utah and allowed local governments in Washington and Beaver counties a chance to buy them. Malloy says the counties need the land for infrastructure as they continue to quickly grow. She says she was told her amendment would be pulled from the bill before they voted on it. Virl Johansson, KSL News Radio.
And a lot of groups kind of for public lands in southern Utah have already been applauding that it was removed as well. Some of the major things in this bill include the work requirements for Medicaid, higher SALT tax deductions, MAGA savings accounts, cuts to clean energy tax credits, and billions in border security reimbursements.
That bill now goes to the Senate, and we've heard a lot of criticism in the Senate, so we're just going to have to see where it goes next.
Yes, we will.
Thanks, Andy. Stay with us. We'll be back with more on Midday in just 60 seconds.
Summer is right around the corner.
It's time to spring into summer with Soda Weight Loss. Today is a new day.
And a big day for you.
Why?
Why?
Because right now, you'll get our biggest discount of the year.
Do you know how good it feels to let go of 51 pounds of belly fat? And I did it without drugs, shots, or hunger. Because Soda Weight Loss works. Just look at all the Google reviews and all the thousands of before and after pictures.
Soda Weight Loss has one goal, and that's to help you let go of the weight for good.
So I lost 25 pounds. I was never hungry. It was very, very easy. I couldn't believe how fast the weight came off.
Now is the time to join America's #1 weight loss company for client satisfaction and results.
Hurry. Cravings won't last long.
Let's go.
Get started now at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
I looked out the window and there was just flames everywhere. And then we heard the chain reaction of boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, whoa.
An emergency scene in a San Diego neighborhood overnight after a small jet crashed into a neighborhood while trying to land in the fog early this morning. ABC's Alex Stone describing the scene there in Southern California.
It's being described as looking like something out of a movie. At around 3:45 in the morning, a small Cessna 550 jet coming into San Diego from Wichita crashed, last on radar at about 500 feet above the ground. It appears to have skidded down a residential street, hitting homes and spreading fire. So far, nobody in the homes is known to be hurt. It's unknown how many people were on board the plane.
Others describing the scene of a half a dozen fully charred cars sitting among broken tree limbs, glass, and the pieces of white and blue metal. At the end of the street, black smoke billowed through the morning as the wreckage continued to burn.
Fire was knocked down. We do have one stubborn car fire that will not go out to the south of us. At this time, we're continuing to fight the fire on that car fire. Everything else is out from the homes down the way.
San Diego Assistant Fire Chief Dan Eddy says multiple people on board the plane have died, but the exact number is still unknown. That plane can hold 8 to 10 people. First responders say about 15 homes have been affected, though it's believed that no one in the homes was injured. Eddy says the scene has been chaotic.
There are multiple cars involved down there. We have jet fuel all over the place. We have hazmat on scene right now. We've asked for more resources to come for that and working with the military. So we have jet fuel, and then we had multiple cars that were on fire when we first got on scene too.
The cause is under investigation, but authorities say fog could have played a role in that crash.
I was coming in at about 4 o'clock this morning. You could barely see in front of you. Very foggy, very dense fog as we were coming through.
The crash took place in the U.S. military's largest housing neighborhood. A suspect in custody today after two Israeli embassy staffers, a young couple, were shot and killed last night. It happened shortly after the couple left an event at the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. ABC News Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas reports from the scene.
Shots outside the Capitol Jewish Museum, killing a young couple, Yaron Lashinsky and his girlfriend, Sarah Milgram. We spoke with Katie and Yoni, who were inside the museum at the time of the shooting.
He reaches into his backpack and pulls out a keffiyeh and says, I did it. I did this for Gaza.
He wanted the cops to come in, and then he wanted to say, I did it.
And a critical piece of evidence that could point to motive, something the suspect said, suggesting an apparent obsession with the Israeli-Hamas conflict.
Law enforcement sources tell ABC News that the shooting has triggered an increase in security around the country. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu released a video statement condemning the fatal shooting.
And as he was taken away, he chanted, "Free Palestine." This is exactly the same chant we heard on October 7th.
Here in Utah, Rabbi Avrami Zippel posting on social media, inviting all to join him in prayer and good deeds for the unfolding situation. He also wrote, the young adult generation has been among the most impacted since October 7th, referring to, of course, the day when Hamas attacked Israel. Still to come, the Department of Justice is withdrawing its plans to tackle police reform. More on that in just a few minutes. But first, KSL Traffic is brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. Ricky?
A crash on southbound I-15 in Sandy. Right now, crews are blocking that right lane of travel, and we're starting to see some backups. See American Mosaic, the outdoor patriotic show, combines talents of Jenny Oaks Baker, Family 4, Kurt Bester, Jason Wright, Ben Lomu, BYU folk dancers, and more. June 9th. Tickets at jennyoaksbaker.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Jeff Kaplan.
His Minute of News is great. It's always entertaining.
I listen to Jeff Kaplan every day. He gives you important news and traffic and the familiar voice that helps you enjoy the ride home.
I really like Jeff's Minute of News. He's calm and he's balanced.
I really enjoy driving home and just listening to what he's got to say.
Jeff Kaplan gets me home every day.
Join the community that relies on Jeff Kaplan. He has you covered. Afternoons from 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
Market volatility isn't slowing down. If you're nearing retirement, now is not the time to wait and see. Every day of uncertainty can put your future at risk. It's time to diversify. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I want you to know you can create certainty, locking in guaranteed income for life. This means predictable, stable cash flow, even in turbulent times. You've worked too hard to leave your retirement to chance. Right now, there are options to receive up to 30% upfront or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't wait. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. 801-899-7600.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any examples provided are hypothetical. Annuities are issued with prospectus and sales brochures and should be reviewed carefully before funding as features and benefits vary. DBA in most states as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Do you need new windows?
Look, all glass pretty much looks the same to the naked eye, but if your windows aren't triple-coated, argon-filled and sealed double-pane glass, the cold is seeping in. You need to call Advanced Window Products. They use the highest quality glass and premium vinyl to create state-of-the-art windows and frames, and for 38 years, they build those frames right here in Utah. Custom crafted for Utah's climate. The best windows you can buy at prices 30 and 40% less than what the big companies charge because they cut out the middleman. They're the factory. They even give you a lifetime warranty, and right now as we head into spring, save an extra $2,500 off 10 windows or more. Custom windows that'll give your house a fresh new look and save you money on your heating and air conditioning. Advanced Windows offers 60-month 0% financing, even buy now, pay later, and an extra $2,500 off. Call for a quote. 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
Tell me about it. Did you have any idea that was going on?
None. I mean, you saw Derek at the game last night, too. Did you have a clue?
No, but you know, teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do. Kids hear first about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
It can be hard to tell sometimes, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, bullying, violence, anything, you need to tell an adult. Mom or me, a teacher, coach, school counselor, someone you know and trust.
Dad, no kid is gonna tell an adult about that kind of stuff.
I get it, but if we don't know, we can't help. Speaking up about a problem, that's what helping a friend is all about.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
And you're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos. The United States Department of Justice has withdrawn their plans for police reform. ABC's Alex Malin analyzes the decision on the Start Here podcast with Brad Milkey.
When you think of the racial reckoning in this country in 2020, in the wake of the killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis, the killing of Breonna Taylor in Louisville, what remains? The anger remains in many communities, but the outward signs of it, the protest in the street, the kneel-downs by pro-athletes, those have dissipated. Murals in plazas bearing the phrase Black Lives Matter have now been painted over. Many companies responded to the killings with their own DEI initiatives, acknowledgement that systemic injustice had prevented a lot of people from ever getting a foot in the door. Under pressure from the Trump administration and from counter-activists, a lot of these initiatives have stalled. Just yesterday, as Target revealed dismal earnings, executives admitted their decision to roll back those DEI programs had prompted backlash of its own. But perhaps the most notable consequences of these killings, the initiatives with the most direct impact on their communities, were the reforms within local police departments.
Every person in the United States must be able to go about their daily lives without concern that they will be affected by unconstitutional policing.
The Department of Justice under President Biden reached deals with Louisville and Minneapolis PD to enforce systemic changes to make sure police didn't cross the line. Well, yesterday, the DOJ, under new leadership, announced those deals are dead. Let's bring in ABC's Alex Malin, who covers the Justice Department. Alex, what was the decision here?
Yeah, so yesterday, the Assistant Attorney General for the Civil Rights Division, Harmeet Dillon, announced that the Justice Department was going to shut down these so-called consent decrees that they had reached with the cities of Louisville and Minneapolis. These were obviously reached during the Biden administration, actually, and they were announced in the months after President Joe Biden was actually defeated by Donald Trump. So that was sort of the justification that was given for these deals being shut down. The primary feeling for Harmeet Dillon was that these were rushed out the door and they were put into place, these sweeping consent decrees, which appoints essentially an independent monitor to oversee major police reforms in these cities. This has to be approved by a court. And actually, at least in Louisville, there was some skepticism expressed by one of the judges that would have overseen one of those consent decrees. So basically, Harmeet Dillon's justification is that the reform should be overseen and led at the state and local level. This is not something that she sees as a priority for this Justice Department. And despite, obviously the reaction we saw in the wake of George Floyd's death and the death of Breonna Taylor, this is something that this department does not see as a federal level priority. They think that they can do this via independent prosecutions when police are accused of misconduct, Brad.
What did the deals do? These consent decrees? Like what policies do they carry? Like what actually changes because of them?
Yeah, I mean, it really aims to address major reforms in training, primarily for these departments. And the idea of having somebody like an independent monitor who's tracking, statistics coming out of your department on a daily basis, making sure that you're following proper procedures regarding stops, seizures, basically how warrants are executed, and general treatment and interactions between the police and the citizenry. And Brad, it's just important to note that whenever these investigations were announced, what was revealed was that the deaths of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd were not just anomalies in these cities. What these investigations really showed was there was systemic violations of citizens' constitutional rights. For instance, in Minneapolis, that investigation found that the department engaged in routine excessive force against citizens using unjustified deadly force and unreasonable use of tasers. In Louisville, that investigation uncovered that police use unjustified neck restraints and unreasonable use of police dogs at certain points. So they weren't just looking at those individual episodes. They were really trying to do a top-down review of how police interacted with citizens. And now with the Justice Department saying that they're going to do away with these deals, the federal government is not going to be involved with making sure that those reforms and those abuses are addressed.
But that's the thing is if it is systemic at the local or even the state level, for the DOJ to now say, well, we'll solve it at the local or the state level. That seems like the disconnect is that the federal government had been saying, obviously, that's not very easy to do. Like, that's why these become habits. How are these communities reacting?
Well, we heard from the local leaders, both the police chiefs and the mayors in Louisville and Minneapolis yesterday. They said that they are committing to actually still abide by many of the structures of these agreements, even if they do not have federal government involvement.
Minneapolis is serious about our commitment to police reform, even if the President of the United States is not.
To ensure that the promised progress continues throughout Louisville Metro government, we are moving forward with the community commitment.
And basically what we heard from Harmeet Dillon at DOJ yesterday, she said, that's fine. If they want to implement the deals, we just don't think that this is worth exhausting federal resources and DOJ attorneys being dedicated to keeping an eye on these police departments at the local level. And Brad, this is really just a reflection of where this civil rights division is going. We know President Trump, he urged aggressive policing, more aggressive policing he believed resulted in safer communities.
And when you see these thugs being thrown into the back of a paddy wagon, you just see them thrown in, rough. I said, please don't be too nice.
He campaigned in 2024 and 2016 on the idea that we're not going to police the police anymore.
No longer will federal bureaucrats micromanage your local police. And we will work with, upon request, local police to help them, not to hinder them.
This Justice Department is walking now in lockstep with that idea. They have lost, according to Harmeet Dillon, she said yesterday, that 50%, more than 200 attorneys have left DOJ's Civil Rights Division since the beginning of this administration because of the policies that Dillon says that they are now going to pursue instead of policing the police. She wants to go after things like DEI, and she wants to go after things like alleged anti-Semitism at universities like Harvard and Columbia. That is going to be the priorities moving forward for this Justice Department, and we'll see whether that has any top-down effect on local police departments around the country.
All right, significant decision here. Alex Mallon at the DOJ right now. Thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
Critics who think police reform still needs to happen say they will continue their own pushes even without federal support. In other national news, the Supreme Court is out with a sidestepping decision on a case about a religious charter school or charter schools. The justices deadlocked 4-4 on a decision to establish the first public religious charter school. The deadlock means the court has held up the decision of a lower court which had deemed it unconstitutional. More from ABC's Devin Dwyer.
4-4 because Justice Amy Coney Barrett, herself a Catholic, recused herself from this case from Oklahoma, in which the Catholic Archdiocese was seeking to put online the nation's first taxpayer-funded religious charter school, explicitly a Catholic school under the Oklahoma charter program.
ABC's Terry Moran explains some of the implications from this ruling.
It's a setback for what has been a steady movement towards allowing for more taxpayer-funded religious support for religious schools over the years, and the hard line between church and state that had been drawn by previous courts has certainly been weakened over the years by this court, but not in this case.
How did this ruling play out in a conservative majority Supreme Court? ABC News contributor Sarah Isger has that perspective.
We've seen this now for the last several terms, that this court, while certainly conservative, has its limits. We don't know which justice is on which side here, but we know that there are 5 Republican appointees who weighed in on this case, and it was a 4-4 split.
Evenly split decisions do not set precedents, so the religious groups involved in the case will be able to bring another case in the future. It's 1:30 at midday at KSL News Radio. Hello, I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. Parents now calling for another school district split in Salt Lake County. Opportunities for kids to get outside and be more active this summer. And KSL traffic. Ricky?
Crews are still working on this Sandy crash. Southbound I-15 near 90th South, blocking a right lane, and a new accident on I-215's West Belt near California Avenue over to the shoulder. Maria?
Thanks, Ricky. KSL's top local stories in 1 minute. First, the latest from ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In San Diego, at least 2 people are dead after a plane crashed into a military housing complex today. The Cessna was not far from the airport. Officials say fire damaged cars and homes. 8 others were injured. San Diego Assistant Fire Chief Dan Eddy.
Some of the injuries were people that were on the ground. All the injuries that we treated were people that were treated at the evacuation center. There was no one transported from scene.
Eddy says it's unclear how many people were on board the plane, and the cause is under investigation. The NTSB also on scene. A suspect is in custody, investigators say, responsible for the double murder of 2 Israeli embassy staffers last night, shot and killed outside an event at the Capitol Jewish Museum. President Trump condemned those killings. A Brooklyn federal jury today convicting Svetlana Dali of stowing away on a New York Delta flight to Paris. Dali testified in her own defense, telling jurors she did not have a boarding pass when she walked onto that flight. Dali still faces sentencing. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story this hour. Salt Lake City police say they've detained someone accused of trying to carjack a driver near 7th South and Main Street. They've not offered more details, except to say that it's an active investigation. The Salt Lake City School District is taking the first steps in revamping its high schools.
There are no students, but the buildings are still in use. Different employees within the district are using them for office space and professional development. It's still costing the district money to pay utilities, but spokesperson for the Salt Lake City School District, Yandere Chatwin, says they are saving a lot of money. On average, it costs around $680,000 a year to operate a school.
Just in salary savings, we're probably saving at each school between $300,000 and $400,000.
Chatwin says plans for the schools were put on hold as the district focused on relocating students. But now, after recently getting approval, they'll be conducting feasibility studies to best decide what's next. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Some parents and community members in the Granite School District think it might be time to split the district. KSL News Radio's Verl Johansson has more.
The district held a town hall last night at Wasatch Junior High to answer any questions people had after starting a population study, looking at whether to close some East Side schools. Some parents suggested they want to know more about what it would look like if the district split. Superintendent Ben Horsley said the district could look into a feasibility study, then said the district could split, but it would cost taxpayers more money.
Horsley told David Dujanovic that they're considering closing schools because enrollment numbers are going down. We'll have more on that story in just a few minutes. The president's spending bill that passed the House this morning would make some big changes to how the SNAP program is funded. Executive Director of Utahns Against Hunger, Gina Cornea, says that this means Utah would have to come up with close to $20 million to keep the program funded at its current levels.
So deeply disappointed in Congress.
She says around 44% of the people who get food from SNAP benefits in Utah are under the age of 17. Utah Congresswoman Celeste Malloy showed her support for the spending bill.
This bill reins in federal spending levels by rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse, and strengthens our economy by ensuring that working American families can thrive without overburdensome taxes or costly regulations. We're moving the economy and the government in the right direction.
It's actually Malloy's birthday, and she says staying up all night with her colleagues and passing the bill were both of her birthday wishes. Your money at this moment, the Dow now up more than 200 points, sitting at 42,048. S&P is up by 27 points. The NASDAQ up by 156 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. Ricky?
Crews are clearing the accident southbound I-15 near 90th South in Sandy to the right. And we have a report of a crash, 2100 South at 3rd West. Break your routine and get into adventure in Cedar City, Bryan Head. Connected to nature, Cedar City makes spring the best break ever. Shopping, dining, and recreation galore. Break up your adventure. Visit cedarcity.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today's high expected to be 84, but temperatures cooling through the weekend. 80 tomorrow, 77 on Saturday with a 30% chance of showers, 78 on Sunday, but it looks like no chance of rain on Monday or Sunday. Monday's high, though, 85. Right now, 79 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot, 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 and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh, yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Bundle Deal Days at AutoZone.
Well, I do need a bundle of things.
When you bundle, you save.
Do I save if I bundle oil with an oil filter?
Save up to $12 on that bundle.
What about brake pads and rotors?
Bundle those and the brake pads are free.
Can't save more than free.
You can save on hundreds of deals during Bundle Deal Days. Ends June 2nd at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. Duralast brake pads only.
With next level tech and safety features, Hyundai cars and SUVs give you the confidence to boldly journey wherever life takes you. Advantages include our available class exclusive digital key and available remote start parking assist. And because we want the road ahead to be as worry-free as possible, every Hyundai also comes complete with America's Best Warranty, a 10-year or 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. It's time you took a test drive of your favorite Hyundai today, only at your Utah Hyundai dealers.
Behold, 'tis I, Queen Trustworth, sentinel for seniors amongst the Knights of Scamelot, here to give thee warning. Scams and fraud are on the rise in Utah, and seniors are especially under siege. Be wary of unsolicited texts, phone calls, and salespeople asking for personal or financial information. And never send money to someone thou hast only met online. If thou hast doubts, talk to someone thou trusteth and get educated at scams.utah.gov.
You are listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos. Several schools in the most eastern part of the Granite School District could be closing before the 2026-2027 school year. Superintendent Ben Horsley spoke to a large crowd last night on why the district is looking into closing schools.
Granite School District has been a district since 1904. We're really old. And we generally see school districts in new growth areas. They kind of peak out and then they settle about 2/3 of their original population. So 47,000 students when our peak population in the late 80s, early 90s being about 78,000 students means that our Board of Education has to make tough decisions about whether to keep small schools open.
Right now, the district is only studying the population of 10 schools. One person at the meeting voicing concerns about the process.
I want to make sure that it's whatever school is closing, it's done objectively, and it is done with all of the information.
District spokesperson Andrew Stringham says that the 10 elementary schools under review have seen many split-grade classes appear due to the declining enrollment. Now, these are classes with 2 grades in the same classroom being taught by the same teacher. Superintendent Horsley spoke on Dave and Dujanovic this morning about the changing demographics and higher home prices in the area, saying it's contributing to lower enrollment.
Families are selling homes. They're selling a 2,000-square-foot Rambler in Mill Creek for $700,000-$800,000, and they're going and paying cash for a brand new property in Alpine or Lehigh or Saratoga Springs,
right?
And they're getting 4,000 square foot and a quarter acre,
right?
And it is a shifting demographic. Young families cannot afford homes in this particular area when the average home in this area is over $1 million.
Parents opposed to the closure say that the district needs to split. In a more tense moment at last night's meeting, Superintendent Horsley and a parent got into a discussion over the proposal.
I'm talking about if they split the district.
So you want a feasibility study?
Yes, I want a feasibility study.
So let me push back on the Granite School District is one of the few districts in the state that's self-funded, and it's because of our size. So I'm just giving you the data in terms of our budget proposal. Our costs went up about $200,000.
Totally, I love self-funded. I'm 100% for it, but we can do that with 2 districts. But we need a feasibility study.
Very good. To answer your question, Granite School District is not authorized to do a feasibility study.
We know. I'm just saying it's the big group. We need a feasibility study.
A final recommendation on closing schools is expected to come later this summer. The district would then seek additional feedback from those who'd be affected by the school closures. The committee overseeing the proposal would revise their proposal and send it to the school board. Now, should the school board accept the final recommendation, they would need to wait at least 90 days before voting to close any schools. During that time, parents and others affected by the potential closures would have the opportunity to voice their opinions on the plan. In other education-related news, the state school board has selected a new state superintendent. The board voted yesterday to hire Dr. Molly Hart as the new state superintendent of public instruction. Dr. Hart currently serves as the executive director of Summit Academy, a K-12 charter school in Salt Lake County. Speaking during her interview with the board yesterday, she spoke about the need for parents to get the resources they need to ensure that their children get the education they want.
The students come and go from our systems, and they enter one version and switch to another and switch back. We need to be providing resources for any parent who wants resources on any of the variations. It's about transparency. It's about making it easy for families to get the information and also pursue whatever it is. I have absolutely zero problems. And during the pandemic, my school provided materials for homeschool students. I have zero problems making sure that if we have resources, that we make them available to whoever wishes them. Now, there are some people who wish to not engage with the public school system. That is completely within their familial right, and I have zero problems with that. However, if they want materials and we have the materials, I believe it's in the interest of all Utah that we provide those resources.
She also spoke a bit about being more individual-centric in the approach to education throughout the state.
I talk about an individual-centric approach to education where we're looking at the experience that the individual student gets, and that's what allows for rigor. If you're creating a system for 670,000 students, that's almost a blob. It's almost you can't meet anyone's needs. But if you take the approach and if we lead our state agency in a way that is individual-centric and we stay laser focused on the experience that the student has in the classroom with the teacher, with parent input, with community, the LEA input, if we make sure we stay focused on that individual experience, then we challenge each student to meet high standards. Because we haven't watered it down to an average, to a middle, to the group think, but we're able to be more precise in what we're expecting out of students individually.
Dr. Hart will succeed current state superintendent Dr. Sidney Dixon. Dr. Hart was chosen over Dr. L. Ben Dalton, the superintendent of Kane County School District. Midday with Maria Shilaos continues in just 60 seconds.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. I can't tell you how much I've been looking forward to Finding Neverland at Hale Center Theater. We were there, Dee and I, on opening night, and it is absolutely amazing. I was so impressed by the aerials. They don't overwhelm the production, but boy, when they use the aerials, it really counts. In one scene, you have not only the flying around, but dancing in the air, which is spectacular. Another thing that I love, in J.M. Barrie's imagination, the Captain Hook character is absolutely spectacular, a perfection in pirate plumage. Let me put it that way. You're going to love the story. You're going to love the production. It's Finding Neverland, and it's underway right now at Hale Center Theater. And don't forget, right now is the perfect time to get tickets for the rest of the season. And all you have to do is go to hct.org. And don't miss Finding Neverland.
Thanks for being with me today on Midday. It's now time for our question of the day. To help me with this, let's bring on Midday executive producer Andy Cupp. And Andy, we asked listeners yesterday to tell us about their favorite national or state park or park area in Utah. Tell us what folks have said.
Maria, as soon as we asked the question, we had a texter text in. I apologize, there wasn't a name attached to this text, but they said their favorite is Goblin Valley. They said it's a great place to play hide and seek with the kids. And now, Maria, we filmed a little video yesterday. That's your favorite park, is it not?
I think it is my favorite just because it's so unique.
Yeah.
I mean, the others have such beautiful beauty. I mean, they're just like extravagant beauty. And this one just has the hoodoos. It's just fun.
I've heard a lot of people say that it's like, another world. It's like a
you've
Martian
gone to an alien planet. Yeah.
We also got a lot of comments all over social media for this question. So we're going to go through a couple of them. I've got some thoughts and Maria's got some thoughts. So first off, Andrew. He said, this is a hard question to answer because there are so many amazing places in Utah and each one is unique. I see no lie with that.
No, I agree
right there.
totally.
I think that's
beautiful.
completely true. But he does say if he had to pick a favorite, it would be Capitol Reef National Park. You ever been, Maria?
It was my favorite till I broke my foot there.
Oh.
It wasn't the park's fault though.
On a hike or in a parking lot?
In a irrigation ditch. It's
Even
a long story.
better. Okay.
Yeah.
Rochelle says probably Bryce Canyon for the color and pine trees.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
David also said Bryce all day long. This one I don't know anything about, but I thought it was funny. Chris says the Taco Truck Canyon in West Valley City.
I don't know where that is. I need to learn more about Taco Truck Canyon. Chris, text in. I want to hear.
Yeah, if you know what that is, texters, 57500. I don't know what that is, but I think it's funny. Rory, she says, my most favorite is the Dead Horse Point State Park. You don't have to hike to enjoy the amazing view it offers. It's not as busy. It's just so relaxing to sit on top of the rock and admire the Colorado Bend. I feel similar to that with, I think it's Goosenecks State Park down in the southeast corner of the state. Very similar, kind of quiet. And you just sit there and you just look at the cool bend of the river.
It's true.
She says her second favorite is Goblin Valley. It's unique. She says they look like goblins.
They do.
Christine, she says she loves them all. If she had to choose one, though, it would be Capitol Reef in the rain. Lots of waterfalls.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And I think that's a cool thing because I think a lot of people, you think of, well, it's raining, I'm not going to go outside. So, yeah, that's a cool one. Becky says public land, parks too crowded. And we kind of broadened the question out yesterday of park areas. So that totally fits. We had two more with Bryce Canyon, Shalise and Stacy. Jamie says Zion National Park because it's Utah-ful to drive through. I love that.
People really like this question, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Carrie, Fremont State Park for the petroglyphs. Ashley, Bryce Canyon again. She also says her favorite state park is the Kodachrome State Park. And I have no idea what that is. Our board op, Corey, is giving us a thumbs up and a big smile. So she appreciates it. And then John says since he's on horses, he doesn't spend a lot of time in the parks, but he does do a lot of rides just outside of Bryce Canyon. And then, of course, Instagram, Stephanie says arches. So thank you again to everyone for chiming in, and we love your comments. So Maria, what is today's question?
Today's question is, are you planning a staycation this year, and how is that helping you save money? Now, if you want to share your thoughts, you can give us a call, leave us a voicemail at 801-575-4606, or you can use the call-in feature on the KSL News Radio app. Just give us your first name, the city where you live, and your thoughts. And you can also comment on our social media posts and give us your thoughts there. You can also text us.
Yeah, 57500.
Right. When we come back, we'll talk about, I better repeat the question again. The question of the day, are you planning a staycation this year, and how is that helping you save money? When we come back, we'll talk about a program designed to get your kids out and about this summer. But first, let's look at traffic. Traffic is brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. Ricky?
Valley Freeway traffic is delay-free, but not crash-free. We have an accident southbound I-215's West Belt, California Avenue over to the shoulder, and a report of an accident downtown at 4th South and 3rd East. Fill up your bucket list in Box Elder County. History, recreation, and wildlife, and excellent dining and shopping await you. Learn more at visitboxeldercounty.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
What are you doing to get healthier this season? If you're just sick of your weight, you just don't want to be in a swimsuit this year, I want to tell you about Salt Lake City Fat Loss because it helped me take off those extra pounds, and it helped me do so quickly. I had just been so frustrated with my inability to lose weight. With this great program, I've lost more than 40 pounds. They are actually helping me keep that weight off by keeping me accountable with their great app. With Salt Lake City Fat Loss, it's an all-natural program. There are no injections or surgeries. It's just a simple combination of foods to burn off your stored fat. Plus, it's easy to follow with great resources to keep you accountable. I mentioned the app. The app gives you daily inspiration. It gives you recipes, and it helps you in maintenance as well. Right now, you could save $200. You can find out more with a free virtual consultation at slcfatloss.com, or you can call them 801-450-1882. Wouldn't it be great to lose up to a pound per day? That's what happens with most of their patients. Just go to slcfatloss.com to learn more, slcfatloss.com.
Respiratory virus season is quickly approaching, meaning we'll see more flu, COVID, and RSV in our community. The good news is vaccines are available that will help prevent these infections and keep people healthy. For flu and COVID, everyone aged 6 months and older are recommended to be vaccinated to help protect ourselves and our families against serious illness. Fall remains the best time to be vaccinated. Respiratory viruses circulate year-round, but peak late fall through winter. Your doctor can recommend which vaccines are best for you and your family.
Brought to you by Intermountain Health and KSL News Radio.
Join KSL News Radio and the movie show this Friday, 10 to 1 at Fat Cats in Clinton, 2062 West, 1800 North, fatcatsfun.com.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is Midday with Maria Shilaos. Nearly 80,000 school-aged children have registered for the My County Rec Pass during the first year of its implementation. I spoke with Callista Pearson with the county's Department of Parks and Recreation about the one-year anniversary of the program.
The My County Rec Pass launched a year ago, and what it does is it provides open access to Salt Lake County Parks and Recreation locations. So access to our pools, open gym time, the climbing wall, free skate time. We also have try it events where kids can come and try different kinds of programmings to see if they're interested in a sport. So it's going to be very busy here soon with the outdoor pools opening on Memorial Weekend.
So this is your second year. What did you learn in the first year?
Well, we actually did a survey that 76% of the people that came, they had never been to one of our locations before. And over 62% of them had said that it was due to money. So we discovered that, by offering this opportunity for children to come in at no cost and removing that barrier, they more than happily pretty much literally jumped into the facilities, whether it be the pool or the programming or the teen events. They've been excited to try out all the different things we've had to offer.
So how does it work and who's eligible?
Children from 18 years and under that are Salt Lake County residents can get this. And how it works is if your child is under 17, you have to go with them to a rec center to sign them up and show your ID and, just basically your address that you're a Salt Lake County resident. And they get registered and they get a little key fob, and then they can go to the rec centers. And children 10 and under must be escorted by an adult at all times.
How did this all start? I mean, what was the purpose originally?
This was originally an idea from our previous Parks and Rec director and the Salt Lake County Mayor, Jenny Wilson. It was just a youth-led initiative that they wanted to provide access to these children, to all children, and provide them a healthy space to go get off screens, to be more involved with their community, to interact with their friends and family members, rather than being, at home and secluded from other people.
Mm-hmm. So is it just for the summer months?
No, this goes all year long. And as of right now, it doesn't expire until your child's 19th birthday.
Okay, so they only have to sign up once.
Yes.
So did they get a card, or what exactly does that look like?
Yeah, it's a little key fob card, like those ones you get at Smith's that you put on your keychain. So they get that, and if they don't have that, they can usually type in their information, and they have a photo of them that pops up.
So far, how many people have signed up for it?
We have had over 78,000 children registered for the program in the past year. So we're excited and hope to continue to grow the program, to get, all children registered in Salt Lake County, to give them this opportunity to, interact and be part of something fun and bigger and learn. Maybe it's a sport that they take throughout their lifetime, whether it be pickleball or golfing or, also just access to the pools and swimming and having that opportunity to learn life skills.
Callista, what have you heard from the children and even from their mom and dads or parents?
Well, we've heard from a lot of the children in the survey. They said things along the lines of, thank you so much for the program and giving me and my friends a space to go and hang out at without my parents being there. So we have teen events a couple times. Well, we've had several at Dimple Dell and Holiday Alliance, and they get the rec center in this after hours time. So for about 2 hours when the center closes on a Friday or Saturday evening, and they get to go and play, basketball in the gym or do whatever. And so they love that. Parents love it because, and even a lot of grandparents have loved it because it's an opportunity for them to take their children or their grandchildren and do something fun with them and, interact with them rather than, being at home or doing something, not as active.
Right. I'm wondering why some children haven't signed up. Are you still just getting the word out?
Yeah, I think it's just getting the word out. There's a lot of children that maybe haven't heard about it. And, so we tell people, share this information with Salt Lake County residents. We've shared it with the school districts. It's out on the website, and it's easy to get to. The website to find out more information is slco.to/pass. And they can go there. And there's also a monthly calendar that gets put up every month. So it gives you all the different opportunities that the centers are providing at those locations by month, by center. So there's about 21 centers with different programs going on.
Any final thoughts for us?
This is one of those opportunities for children to be able to do something that is active and fun, and really learning these lifelong skills is exciting. Maybe one day they're going to be an avid pickleballer or whatever because they learned it at a Try It event, or, just having the opportunity to try a sport and not feel pressured to have to, do it for like a whole season, but just having the opportunity to try it gives them that sense of, this is what it's about and I want to keep doing it, or no, it's not for me, which is something we don't always get the opportunity to do, especially as adults this day and age.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio,
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
13 to 19 major hurricanes expected this summer.
The go, no-go evacuation, a city like New Orleans, Houston, Miami. That forecast makes a difference. And if you don't have to evacuate, you don't want to. People lose their lives in evacuations. We save a lot of lives, but people actually lose their lives in evacuations.
The time is 2 o'clock on Thursday, May 22nd. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, we'll dig into the potential effects on weather forecasting following federal layoffs. Also this hour,
now recruiting is happening in the elementary schools as young as 10, 11 years old.
Gangs targeting younger kids through social media, what you need to watch out for. But first, our top stories. The Justice Department says a man from Santa Clara has been charged in connection with the damage to a Homeland Security van used by ICE agents. Michael Gaines is charged with damaging government property. According to investigators, his Jeep was identified on the surveillance video of the vandalism. He's accused of approaching the ICE van wearing a ski mask and goggles, then ripping pieces off the side view mirrors. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. At least 2 people are dead, 8 others injured after a small jet crashed into a San Diego neighborhood this morning.
Moments before the plane crash, the pilot of the small jet called into air traffic control asking for a weather update for the executive airport in San Diego.
Really had any idea on the weather.
The audio from liveatc.net, the controller telling him the weather was not good. Visibility down to minimum levels at a nearby airport. The pilot responded,
"All right, doesn't sound great, but we'll give it a go."
Then in thick fog, the plane crashed into the neighborhood. It's believed everybody on board was killed. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Aviation experts are reacting to Boeing's safety report released just days ago. According to the report, Boeing is requiring safety and quality training for nearly 160,000 employees, while safety reports from anonymous workers are up 220%. Aviation expert Scott Hamilton says if Boeing can't convince the FAA it's making a significant improvement,
Boeing can't increase production rates of the 737, which is the bread and butter airplane that brings in the majority of the profit.
Boeing still faces a criminal fraud charge after 2 fatal 737 MAX crashes and a door plug blew out on a flight last year. Say goodbye to Abe Lincoln. The U.S. Mint has made its final order of penny blanks and plans to stop producing the coin when those run out. That's according to an anonymous Treasury Department source speaking with the Associated Press. That same source told the AP it would save about $56 million in reduced material costs. Taking a look at your money at this moment, at the close, the Dow down by about a point, sitting at 41,859. And I don't believe that has corrected. I'm going to just skip the money news right now because I don't believe that the markets have moved this dramatically in the last few minutes. I'm going to check those numbers again. I'll do a refresh of the computer, and I'll get back with you. The White House is responding to criticism over an exclusive dinner tonight hosted by the president and welcoming hundreds of investors in his own cryptocurrency coin. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt pushed back against reports asking whether the dinner amounts to a pay-to-play scheme.
The president is attending it in his personal time. It is not a White House dinner. It's not taking place here at the White House, but certainly I can raise that question and try to get you an answer for it.
There are more than 200 people expected to attend, all top investors who pumped millions of dollars into the cryptocurrency. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. Ricky?
We do have delays in Davis County. It's due to our latest accident, northbound I-15 approaching Shepherd Lane in Farmington, and you do have delays past Park Lane and nearing the Highway 89 split. If you need to travel this stretch, just add an extra 10 to 15 minutes to your drive time. When you take UTA, you can do just about anything while you ride. You won't even notice all the traffic you're missing. Plan your trip at rideuta.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A high today of 84 degrees, an overnight low of 51, so all your plants will be safe. 80 tomorrow, then on the weekend. Saturday is the rainy day, 30% chance of showers. Everything else looks great. Right now, 79 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Teens can get up to $200 with a Teen Learn and Earn account. Plus, continue earning rewards as they master the essentials of finance. More at cypresscu.com/teen.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Hi, Susan. We haven't seen or heard from you.
Cold.
We would like to locate Joyce.
The mysteries that made podcast history.
Cherie Warren disappeared.
Are now together for free at kslpodcasts.com.
I'm Dave Cawley, the host of Cold. Join me for Season 1, The Susan Powell Case Files. Season 2, Justice for Joyce. And Season 3, The Search for Cherie. Listen anytime for free at kslpodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
For nearly 70 years, Les Olson IT has been the trusted name for businesses. From state-of-the-art printers and copiers to managed IT services, we have the solutions you need to stay ahead in today's world. And now Les Olson IT is trusted and licensed in Utah for security systems, for technology that helps you work smarter. Les Olson IT, providing solutions that empower your business.
Les Olson IT.
Summer is almost here. It's time to get in the best shape of your life with Soda Weight Loss.
Hey there. You're looking good. My name is Corey Sulian. My wife and I began our Soda weight loss journey on January 20th of this year. We have seen some amazing results. I have lost 59.4 pounds. My wife lost 30.3 pounds, and we feel great.
It's time to spring into summer with Soda Weight Loss, because right now you'll get our biggest discount of the year.
Every single day, Soda Weight Loss is helping people let go of the weight without drugs, without hunger, and the weight stays off.
I love Soda Weight Loss. Thank you for helping to change our lives. I highly recommend it for anybody who wants to lose weight or get healthy.
Get started now at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
I have double-checked the markets. I was just surprised at this choppy trading today because it was quite different from the last half hour when I checked. The Dow did end down by 1 point. S&P 500 down by nearly 3 points. The NASDAQ, however, was up by 53 points. Even as recovery continues from last year's devastating hurricanes, federal forecasters are anticipating another active storm season this year. Thanks for tuning in to Midday with Maria Shilaos. In 2025, National Weather Service Director Ken Graham is expecting 13 to 19 named storms. Those are those with winds above 39 miles per hour.
Of these, 6 to 10 are forecast to become hurricanes, and 3 to 5 is the number of major hurricanes. That's Cat 3 and above.
He says improved technology and modeling brought a near-perfect prediction to the 2024 Atlantic storm season.
Half of fatalities back then were because of storm surge, and we've reduced that. We've done an incredible amount of work to get the watches and warnings for storm surge and being able to highlight that to reduce that number. Here's a few stats. Go back, think about this. 2005, our models had an average day 5 track error about 460 miles. Today it's 200. Think about that. 5 days out, 460 miles, that's your forecast. We've narrowed that down to 5 days to 200 miles. Incredible. 2020, a 5-day forecast is accurate as a 3-day forecast in 2005. It's a game changer for emergency management, game changer for this country. What does it mean? Well, 30, 40, 50 miles makes the difference in an evacuation. The go, no-go evacuation, a city like New Orleans, Houston, Miami, that forecast makes a difference. And if you don't have to evacuate, you don't want to. People lose their lives in evacuations. We save a lot of lives, but people actually lose their lives in evacuations.
The experts released today's hurricane forecast in Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, to mark the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. Here's NOAA Administrator Laura Grimm.
The United States is fortunate to have the world's best scientists, computer and modeling experts, and meteorologists at NOAA, who provide us with accurate forecasts of tropical storms. These experts are constantly learning from current and past weather events, such as Hurricane Katrina, which made landfall nearly 20 years ago this summer, just 50 miles where we stand here today in Gretna, Louisiana. NOAA has chosen to be here for our Outlook today because at the Emergency Operations Center in Jefferson Parish to commemorate the 20 years since one of the worst natural disasters in U.S. history. In 2024, inland flooding was one of the most destructive forces during the hurricane season, with rainfall totals from Hurricane Helene exceeding 30 inches in communities located hundreds of miles from the coast. These storms are a stark reminder about how vital it is to prepare for the upcoming hurricane season now, before the storms begin forming in the Atlantic Basin. The Hurricane Outlook is just one preparedness tool that citizens, forecasters, and decision makers use to get ready for what lies ahead. The 2024 hurricane season outlook that was issued in May last year was right on the money. The results that came in final, the named storms, the hurricanes, the major hurricanes, the accumulated cyclonic energy, or ACE, all fell within NOAA's predicted ranges.
Graham using Hurricane Katrina to illustrate the difference hurricane forecasters make in saving lives.
You look at the 20th anniversary of Katrina on Sunday, August 28th, 2005, at 10:11 a.m., the National Weather Service Weather Forecast Office in New Orleans issued the following statement. Just take it in. Most of the area will be uninhabitable for weeks, perhaps longer. Airborne debris will be widespread. Persons, pets, livestock exposed to the winds will face certain death if struck. Power outages will last for weeks. Water shortages will make human suffering incredible by modern standards. Feel that? That went out on that day from the National Weather Service. And then you look back at the history and what happened. That was such an ominous call to action issued by the office 20 years ago.
The hurricane predictions come following cuts to staffing at both NOAA and the National Weather Service. ABC's chief meteorologist Ginger Z breaks down how the cuts could affect weather forecasting and warnings across America.
I've always said that I love meteorology and the weather because I love to put together the pieces of the puzzle that is the atmosphere. I wanted to make this really simple, so I made a puzzle and wrote the atmosphere on it. Each puzzle piece you could think of as a thermometer, or say a satellite, a radar. And each of these puzzle pieces is critical to making a good forecast. The National Weather Service, which is part of NOAA, owns, operates, and maintains these puzzle pieces. So when you get rid of them, you have a less accurate forecast. While we don't know exactly what jobs have been cut, we did immediately see impacts like this. A weather balloon in Alaska, because of staffing shortages, will no longer be launched. So that means you've taken out some of the puzzle pieces. That means a forecast will be less accurate, even though it was in Alaska, because that puzzle piece impacts the whole rest of the atmosphere. The National Weather Service has 122 offices across the nation, 13 river forecast centers, and 2 tsunami warning centers. Before last week, they had about 4,200 employees, but with the deferred resignation and the firings, they're about 280 short from that. And you say, well, there had to be some fat to be trimmed. Not only can I not do my work without the National Weather Service, but the entire world of forecasting hinges on the NWS. That's right. Everything in weather, including the app that tells you what the temperature is walking out the door. That's run by observations from the National Weather Service. And that forecast that you look at to plan your day, yeah, that one too, it's run by NOAA computer models. That tornado warning that got you and your family in your basement and safe with your helmets on, yeah, that was issued by the National Weather Service, by a forecaster who was reading their radars, which they have 159 of, that they also maintain. And I know that most people have no idea how lucky we are. We have the most extensive network of observations here in the United States. It's all from the National Weather Service, which prior to 1970 was called the Weather Bureau, and that started in the late 1800s. Just like I take my observations of temperature, wind speed data right here in my backyard, the National Weather Service takes them every hour of every day at every major airport around the country. Then, at least 90 weather balloons are launched by the National Weather Service every day. They go up much like the drone is rising into the atmosphere, and there's a little box attached. They capture temperature, dew point, pressure, lots of different variables, and then they send that data back. That cross-section of the atmosphere is critical to put into computer modeling and make our forecast. Not only is it the hardware and the forecast, but it is the way that that information gets shared. And each National Weather Service office has partners with local fire departments, police, schools, emergency managers, all the way up to the federal level so people can prepare for disaster. And when a disaster's coming, like flooding in a flood-prone area like this, they, the National Weather Service, will talk to city planners so they can get ready for the emergency. Your power company that energizes your power lines and give you power in your home, yet they're likely using data collected and maintained by the National Weather Service to make decisions about disasters. To give you an idea of what the typical National Weather Service office looks like, and they are all different depending on size, but in general, you'll have an MIC, a meteorologist in charge. They're kind of the overall manager. The SOO, the Science Operations Officer, they do a lot of the training. The WCM, which is the Warning Coordination Meteorologist. Then you have a hydrologist, often that is shared between 2 offices. The IT support, to make sure computers work and all, engineers for the radar and more, then 4 to 6 lead forecasters and 4 to 8 support forecasters because they all work in shifts. Now, all of these people cover all of this, the storm spotter network, the marine weather, the aviation weather, tsunami, and even fire weather. Pretty important. And get this, the American Meteorological Society put out a study that showed that the National Weather Service cost the taxpayer about $4 per year. I'd say that's a pretty amazing return on investment for a life-saving service. The union that represents the National Weather Service employees is worried that at each National Weather Service office, they may not have enough staffing to run 24/7 like they do now. They also, and you've got to hear the exact words here, they're concerned that there may not be sufficient satellite operations to track and command the weather satellites on a continuing basis. If we lose that data, that is a giant, gaping hole in our puzzle. We reached out to the National Weather Service for comment. They said that they do not comment on personnel issues, but they do remain committed to their mission, which is to keep the public safe. The American Meteorological Society, meanwhile, regarding the cuts, stated that the consequences to the American people will be large and wide-ranging, including increased vulnerability to hazardous weather.
And that was ABC's chief meteorologist, Ginger Z. We are watching a story out of the nation's capital where RFK is actually talking about his Make America Healthy bill again, or I should say initiative right now. Let's listen in for a minute to what he has to say.
White House staff, beginning with Stephen Miller and Heidi Overton, Dr. Heidi Overton, with Vince Haley. Their leadership and their steady hand in getting us to the goal line we could not have done it without them. They helped us grapple with weighty issues and committed this administration to solving large, complex challenges like children's health. We're joined here by senators, advocates, governors who I have worked with, and CEOs who I know who are all ready to begin carrying out this mission. This is the beginning of a conversation, a national conversation that we are going to have with maturity, with nuance, for the first time in history, thanks to your leadership, President Trump. There is a reason that the Maha Mom sided with you, President Trump. It's because this administration has the bravery to tell the truth and solve problems through innovation and not nanny state regulation. President Trump, I'm honored to present you the Maha report and work with this incredible cabinet that you have brought together to make our children healthy again.
That is the Health Secretary, RFK Jr. speaking. And again, releasing this Make America Healthy Again report to President Trump.
Three things. First, on behalf of an extremely grateful nation, and on behalf of a lot of extremely grateful Maha moms who are out there, Secretary Kennedy and Mr. President, thank you. I see a Maha mom and grandma and our amazing chief of staff right there, Susie Wiles. I see a Maha mom and Caroline Levitt all across our cabinet. Sir, my oldest son, Luke, is here. Stand up, Luke. I am a Maha mom of 4. And this hits particularly close to home for every single one of us in this room. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you mentioned, sir, in your remarks that we are on track to sign multiples of SNAP waivers to get junk food and sugary drinks out of our food stamp system. And I am so proud. I am so proud to announce that on Monday, I was in Nebraska with Governor Pillen, where we signed the first one. An hour ago, I signed the second one for Governor Braun in Indiana. He may not even know that. I've got it right here, sir. I also signed the third one, Governor Kim Reynolds of Iowa, about an hour ago. With a half a dozen more coming down the line. And sir, that has never happened before. Under Republican or Democrat administrations, we have never made that happen before. So I am so proud and so grateful for your leadership.
We have Governor Morrissey here, who was the first one to apply from West Virginia.
Oh, Governor Morrissey. We will make sure you're at the top of the pile, sir. I apologize. Governor Sanders has been a leader. Governor Polis from Colorado. It has been remarkable how these governors have stood up. That's the second thing. The third and final thing, sir, is we all know that at the center of making America healthy again is making American agriculture great again. Without American agriculture at the center of this discussion, we have the most robust, the safest, the best agriculture system in the world. And in partnership with the amazing Secretary Kennedy and all of these incredible patriots sitting around this table, under the leadership of the extraordinary President Donald J. Trump, we will make America healthy again. And what an honor it is to be a part of that. Well, thank you, sir.
And we have been listening to a press conference announcing a report on the Make America Healthy Again initiative. And we'll be right back.
Have a minute?
I love Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News.
It's more of a personal take on the news from Jeff.
Get caught up on the latest news and hear Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News for thought-provoking, playful commentary.
It's usually funny.
Like he's said before, it varies from day to day, and it's always entertaining.
My Minute of News, it puts a smile on my face.
If you have a minute, you need to catch Jeff's Minute. My Minute of News, weekdays from 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
When is the optimal time to file for Social Security? That could help you get every penny that is rightfully yours. Get the answer in a free report, your guide to filing for Social Security in 2025 and beyond. It's from Boss Retirement Solutions, who's helped tens of thousands of families get the most out of their benefits. If you've saved more than $200,000 and have not filed for Social Security, get your free report now by calling 801-251-1046. Timing, taxes, spousal benefits. This free report details the most critical things you must consider that could help you get the most income from your Social Security benefits today. Get this free report right now by calling 801-251-1046. That number again, 801-251-1046.
Boss Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the Social Security Administration.
All the cool kids and their parents are listening to Teen Talk with Jocelyn Osmond. Have you ever wondered what goes on inside the mind of a teenager? Get a glimpse behind the teen scene through the eyes of this bright, curious, and inspiring teen host. Jocelyn's guests include everyone from fellow teens to local celebrities, politicians, athletes, and other leaders and influencers. Take a listen this Sunday from 3 to 4 and learn more about the teen scene.
The Salt Lake Chamber is Utah's voice for business. Okay, that sounds great, but what does it really mean? Well, as Utah's largest and longest-standing business association, they support and champion community prosperity throughout the state. And if you're in business, well, that's a very good thing for you. Be sure to listen to the Chamber's Speaking on Business, weekdays at 7:20, 11:55, and 5:20 p.m. on KSL News Radio.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Are you struggling with pain in your feet, ankles, knees, hips, or lower back? At the Good Feet store, we recommend having high-quality support in all of your shoes. Our personalized arch support system has helped countless people find relief, like Karen. Here is her Good Feet story.
After I decided my pain was too much, and my doctor actually suggested that I do visit the Good Feet store. Pretty amazing when they put the arch supports in your shoe and you walk around and you realize there's not pain and you think, how can this arch support in my shoe make my back pain go away? But it works. And how can it make my knee pain go away? It was incredible.
Come to the Good Feet store today and see what we can do for you. Good Feet arch supports are in stock and available in over 300 different styles and sizes.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Stop in today at the Good Feet store.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Thinking about retirement? Make sure a My Social Security account is a part of your plan.
A My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal earnings history and benefit status. You can find out if you're eligible to receive benefits, compare retirement benefit estimates at different ages or dates, view spousal benefit estimates, and more. Plan for your future. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Memorial Day weekend isn't just for barbecues and beach trips. News Nation's Marky Martin reports it's also a good time to save big and upgrade essential items ahead of any potential tariffs.
It's not just the burgers getting grilled this holiday. Memorial Day prices are feeling the heat too, and the trade war is part of the reason why. Your cookout will cost a little more this year, but not too much more. Prices are up about 4% compared to last Memorial Day. Ground beef is near record highs, chicken's up 3%, and tomatoes have spiked nearly 17%. Partly due to new tariffs on Mexican imports, expected in July. But there is a silver lining. Burgers are actually a better value than hot dogs this year. So, if you're hosting a crowd, beef might stretch your budget a little further. And it's not just food. Tariffs have been paused on many imported goods, making this weekend one of the best times to buy. Electronics, appliances, outdoor furniture, all likely to see price hikes if tariffs return later this summer. But grills and patio furniture, you're seeing the best deals of the year. Retailers are pushing big discounts to clear inventory now while they still can. And even if the tariffs never materialize in the future, financial experts say to focus on the deals right now.
On Wall Street, we have a saying, buy the rumor, sell the news. So right now, we should be buying the rumor of all these impending price hikes and tariffs and everything like that.
So if you've been putting off a major purchase, this may actually be your window. Just make sure to compare prices and focus on what you'll need for summer.
Yeah, you just really have to do your research because I've been seeing things that say they're 70% off and they don't look like they're 70% off to me. Many businesses are offering pre-tariff deals over the holiday. Meanwhile, others are warning shoppers of higher prices as the first products to face new tariffs hit U.S. stores or shores. It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. Hello, I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. The warning signs that you need to look for to make sure your children aren't recruited by gangs. Motorcycle safety tips ahead of the 100 deadliest days of summer and KSL traffic, Ricky.
Heavy delays northbound I-15 due to a crash near Shepherd Lane in Farmington, backing traffic to about Glover Lane. And we're not seeing that the left lane remains blocked. Maria?
Thanks, Ricky. KSL's top local stories in 1 minute.
News, I'm Michelle Franzen. One man is in custody after authorities say he shot and killed 2 Israeli embassy staffers as they left the Capitol Jewish Museum last night. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, the highest-ranking Jewish elected official in the U.S., spoke on the Senate floor today.
Such a blatant and targeted act of anti-Semitism right here in the nation's capital should outrage everybody.
The FBI now focusing on the suspect's online posts, apparently against the Israel-Hamas war. Those murders also raising questions about security amid heightened threats due to the war. In California, at least 2 people are dead after a plane crashed into a military housing unit in a San Diego neighborhood earlier today. Authorities say no one on the ground was killed, but 8 others were injured. A federal judge in Boston blocking the Trump administration's efforts to dismantle the Education Department, saying only an act of Congress can close an agency. On Wall Street, stocks ending mixed for the day. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. Salt Lake City police say they have detained someone accused of trying to carjack a driver near 7th South and Main Street. They have not offered more details except to say that it is an active investigation. Pioneer Park's reputation hasn't always been glowing, but city leaders say it's time for a transformation. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera has the new plan to rebrand that space.
Except on summer Saturdays, when the farmers market draws crowds from all over Utah, Pioneer Park hasn't exactly been a go-to hangout. Safety concerns and public perception have kept people away. Now the city and Downtown Alliance are teaming up to change that with a plan for lawn games, live events, and a permanent home for the farmers market. The idea is to create a space that feels safe, welcoming, and full of life every day. Executive Director with the Downtown Alliance, Steve Brewer, says the plan is inspired by other markets.
Parks that we're pointing to around the country in New York, in Seattle, in Houston, in Dallas. These are concepts that have been proven successful, this public-private model.
Still, the announcement left some wondering exactly how safety will be improved. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
The Salt Lake City Council is still considering whether to approve the mayor's request for more than $2 million to add safety measures to some of the city's most dangerous roads. KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly explains.
The council took feedback from the public this week on budget item, which would add speed bumps and metered crosswalks to Redwood Road, 800 South and 900 West in Salt Lake. Some residents approved, while others want to know why safety problems on the east side of the city appear to be overlooked. Ultimately, the council postponed a vote on the issue until June 3rd.
State law would also require UDOT to work with the city council for improvements to Redwood Road. The president's spending bill that passed the House this morning would make some big changes to how the SNAP program is funded. Executive Director of Utahns Against Hunger, Gina Cornea, says that this means Utah would have to come up with close to $20 million to keep that program funded at its current levels.
So deeply disappointed in Congress.
She says around 44% of the people who get food from SNAP benefits in Utah are under the age of 17. Utah Congresswoman Celeste Malloy showed her support for that spending bill.
This bill reins in federal spending levels by rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse, and strengthens our economy by ensuring that working American families can thrive without overburdensome taxes or costly regulations. We're moving the economy and the government in the right direction.
It's actually Malloy's birthday. She says staying up all night with her colleagues and passing the bill were both of her birthday wishes. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow ending down. It was pretty flat, down 1 point, sitting at 41,859. S&P 500 down by about 3 points. The NASDAQ, though, up by 53 points. Traffic and weather brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans. Ricky?
A left lane blocked with an accident in Davis County, northbound I-15. This is near Shepherd Lane in Farmington. With that lane of travel blocked, we are seeing heavy delays back to Glover Lane. Salt Lake County freeways seeing a quiet drive. Advanced Window Products offers Graber window coverings. High-end quality with the best warranty. Save 30% off when you mention KSL. AdvancedWindows.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A high of 84 degrees today. Tomorrow, though, dropping a little bit down to 80 for the weekend. Upper 70s and a 30% chance of rain on Saturday. 79 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Do you have chirping smoke detectors? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and if you've ever experienced chirping smoke detectors, you already know how annoying it can be. A great first step to try and stop the chirping is to change the batteries. If the chirping continues, it's possible that your smoke detector has gone bad. As a matter of fact, a lot of people don't even realize that manufacturers recommend replacing the smoke detector altogether after 10 years. If you remove the smoke detector from the wall, on the back you should find a date of when it was made. Do a little math and you'll know how old it is. Now, Any Hour Services knows being a homeowner means you've got a list a mile long of things to do around the house, and check my electrical system probably isn't one of them. That's why we've put together this radio special for any homeowners listening. One of our licensed electricians will perform a comprehensive inspection of your electrical system that includes testing those smoke detectors and give you a full written report for only $29. But you have to mention this ad when you call. Call Any Hour Services to schedule at 801-443-7300. 801-443-7300. Any Hour Services.
Hey there. I'm Phil Briggs, Navy veteran and host of CBS Eye on Veterans weekly radio show and podcast. And I often think of my old boss in the Navy, Commander Reed, especially when I'm trying to motivate my kids. Now I know how he must have felt trying to motivate me. This Military Appreciation Month, Navy Federal Credit Union wants to celebrate those who go above and beyond for us every day. Learn more at NavyFederal.org/celebrate. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
You are listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos. Police in Salt Lake City say gangs are now recruiting elementary school kids. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera spoke with Salt Lake Gang Unit's Rob Titch about the evolution of gangs in the Valley.
So we've seen a trend just from everything from the recruiting to the offenders. They're recruiting younger and younger. I think we talked about it before, where now recruiting is happening in the elementary schools as young as 10, 11 years old. And the complication with that is a lot of time those young offenders can't even be put into through juvenile court because of that age. So that creates complications. That's really where our outreach with our Promising Youth Project and working with the schools has been super successful.
Titch says just like technology and social media are evolving, so is the structure of gangs.
When you talk about traditional gang structures, there was a lot of hierarchical structure, how the gangs were formed. But today with social media, a lot of it's online. And so we see a couple of things. One, it's harder to track that structure. That structure is a lot more fluid in nature. In addition to that, the traditional investigative efforts or tactics don't apply to today. We do a lot of things based on social media. We do a lot of that networking through there, different social media apps. Yeah, and it's also another complicated thing where prior we're targeting offenders who may be adults, and so it's easier to get them into prison or in the federal system. With the younger and younger gang population, that creates its own obstacles. Working with the juvenile courts and with JJYS is something that probably gang units in the past weren't as affluent as we are.
Kids are attracted to gangs, he says, for a couple of main reasons.
Yeah, for sure, money's probably the prime motivator for kids to join a gang. And in addition to that, protection. Salt Lake City doesn't really have the population density that other metropolitan areas have, and so there's less opportunity for them to align themselves geographically. So we'll have, and again, that complicates our investigations as far as we can't go into a neighborhood and say this is a specific gang runs this neighborhood. You may have rival gang members living next to each other, which creates its own dynamic. In addition to that, it's hard, traditionally gang investigations were, we could look into this group and members of this group would stay with this group for their life, where now kids are what we call hood hopping. They may be associated with this group and a week later they're associated with this group. That adds to the investigative complication. We're trying to track these kids and identify who they're rivals with or where this violence may be coming from.
Titch says the gang unit is also all about outreach to help communities identify the signs of gang activity.
We meet with parents, we meet with educators, administrators, youth groups, community groups, where we can actually come and present and identify a lot of those signs where kids may be gang involved. But things you look for are change in friendship groups, decline in school activity, decline in attendance. A lot of the clothing they wear, some of the language they use are key indicators on if a kid's being influenced by a gang or even maybe part of a gang.
He also says while the gang unit focuses on the city, gangsters don't pay quite as much attention to the boundaries.
Salt Lake City Police Department is one of the few agencies in the state that has a gang unit specifically for our agency, but that doesn't mean that we necessarily operate strictly in Salt Lake City. Obviously, the community of Salt Lake City is our priority, but we work very closely with metro gangs. It's a seamless operation with them into the county. A lot of the offenders that we arrest live outside of Salt Lake City, but they come here to commit those acts. So it's imperative that we have good relationships with them. We work closely with Ogden, and they may seem like a far stretch, but in the last couple of years, we've had offenders from Ogden come down here, commit crimes, and vice versa, so we've been able to work with them. We work with Department of Corrections, not only getting the intelligence out of the prison, but making sure that offenders, as they move back into society, that transition, that we can help with that transition to make sure they're successful and also hold them accountable. If they're coming from a gang family or gang lifestyle, it's good to have us keep track of that and make sure that they're on track.
That is Salt Lake Gang Unit's Rob Titch, who says officers are now using tech, intel, and outreach at schools to fight gang crime and stop recruitment. The unit has already seized more guns, drugs, and cash than this time last year, a sign that gangs are not just more active, but more dangerous. Motorcycle accidents and deaths are already significantly higher this year than at this time last year. So far, motorcycle fatalities in Utah are up 80%.
The majority of these crashes that we're finding, especially in fatalities on motorcycles, they are known speed-related and non-helmet use for this year's fatalities. So we all know that speed decreases our reaction time if there is a hazard in front of you or slowing traffic in front of you. So please reduce your speeds, not just as a rider, but as a vehicle driver as well. That is going to reduce the severity of these incidents and reduce the risk of these crashes as things come up. Please make sure and share the road.
KSL News Radio's Alessandra Gurr spoke with the Utah Highway Safety Commission Communications Manager Jason Metman about the pattern that is emerging when it comes to fatal accidents.
We've seen a couple of alarming trends emerge. Total motorcycle crashes year to date as of yesterday, we are up 16% than where we were last year. So just over 380 times this year in 2025, we've had a motorcycle involved in a crash. And 16 of those have been fatal, where we were only at 9 fatalities last year at this same time. So we're up almost 80% on fatalities. And it's just a tragic story that we're seeing out on the roads, and we need people to focus and drive safe.
Metman says most of these accidents are happening on highways where cars and motorcycles are traveling at higher speeds.
And in fact, when we look at the factors that are happening in these crashes, about 40% are single vehicle crashes. So that means that a motorcycle by themselves is getting into a crash. And most of these crashes are serious. They are violent. So it's so important that every rider wears their gear every single time and rides alert and sober so they can make sure that they get home safely. So when we examine the fatal crashes that have happened so far in 2025, the top 5 factors are failure to keep in the proper lane, failure to yield the right-of-way, reckless and aggressive driving, and then disregarding traffic signs. So for us at Highway Safety, that points to us that these riders need to make sure that they're keeping their skills current, up to date, and taking a skills course to make sure that they're as sharp as they can be before they get out on that machine on the roadway. And then for drivers that are failing to yield the right-of-way to these motorcyclists, that's simply a behavior issue. It is a choice to drive poorly. It is a choice to drive recklessly. And unfortunately, these motorcyclists are vulnerable. They don't have that protection of the vehicle or a seatbelt around them to protect them from other driver behaviors that are out there. So please share the road. It's both of our responsibility to make sure we do it so safely.
So far this year, a quarter of motorcycle fatalities and crashes involved riders who did not have a license or an endorsement. Midday with Maria Shilaos continues in just 60 seconds.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. I want to tell you about our famous "You Don't Need a Warranty" warranty. That's right. It's a warranty you don't need, but we give it to you anyway. Let me explain. Most warranty problems for siding, gutters, and windows are caused by not installing stuff right in the first place. If you rush the work, cut corners, or use subpar materials, you're just begging for problems later. At RGS Exteriors, we don't tolerate careless workmanship. We slow down, focus on every detail, and use only the best materials. We prevent warranty work by doing the job right in the first place. That's why the 10-year everything guarantee we give you is also known as our "You Don't Need a Warranty" warranty. We absolutely will be there if you need to use it. But honestly, you probably will never have to. Done right the first time. That's the RGS way. For siding, gutters, and windows, call 801-280-3110 or visit us at rgsexteriors.com.
Members of the military are the target of scammers as the nation gets set to recognize Memorial Day. Better Business Bureau says one of those scams involves what is called a Veterans Benefits Buyout.
This is where there's a cash payment that's given to the veteran in exchange for their disabled veteran's future benefits or a pension payment. And the cash amount that they're receiving is well below what the veteran is entitled to. Hearing about these incidents, you can't believe that it's taking place. And so we just encourage individuals that these buyout plans can be structured in several ways. So they really need to do their research thoroughly before signing anything over. You definitely don't want to be giving away what is rightfully coming to you and essentially signing it over to somebody else that you're talking to.
The BBB's Timothy Johnston spoke with KSL News Radio's Michelle Rowe. He says members of the military are also vulnerable because they often move from place to place.
When you think about the military community, oftentimes they are moving from location to location and trying to secure a place to live. If it's not on base, can add an extra headache. And so we do see fake rental properties being an issue for individuals where the scammer will take legitimate photos away from other rental properties and post them, say, on a Craigslist or a marketplace, and entice you to sign documents to provide personal information, to submit some form of, like, say, a down payment, not a down payment, but a security payment, oftentimes via wire transfer or some other way that's difficult to get that money back. And really, in the end, you want to make sure you're checking out that property. If you can't do it, have somebody else do it for you. You don't want to be providing your personal information or your money to somebody that you don't know, especially if you're wiring something to somebody you don't know. The chances for being taken is pretty great. And then also understand that serving in the military does come with its risks, and there are life insurance policies out there, and there are legitimate and good sales brokers of that, but there are also those that will try to use high pressure sales pitches to provide you or to offer you a expensive life insurance policy, probably something beyond what you need and probably inflated cost wise as well. So important to check out the individual that's selling the product, check out the product itself, but also check with other insurance agents, and again, ask around on the base, people that you serve with or the veterans communities that you participate in to get some good feedback. And I think it all boils down to, in some ways, is making sure you do your research so you don't end up having an issue.
And he admits it's tough to figure out which offers are real.
Some of them can be legitimate. I mean, it's much like, think of a reverse mortgage on your home. If you are in a situation where you need that cash to do something in your life at that moment, and having it for later in life maybe is not something that is of need for you. Yes, there are businesses out there that can help in that situation, but there's also businesses out there that can take advantage of that situation. And so it's always best to do your research. For example, we often see misleading car sales when it comes to military personnel, as far as providing false discounts or things along those lines. And so we just encourage people to do your research, check companies out at bbb.org, talk to others in your community that have maybe sought those services and get those recommendations in word of mouth, and then do your research as well, just to save you those headaches on the backside.
Military members who are being deployed are also encouraged to alert the credit bureaus that they are going on active duty. Still to come, motivation and kindness. The group is trying to pass it along today, and they hope to break the world record while they do it. But first, let's get a look at your traffic. Ricky Meese, what's happening?
We have a crash in Davis County still causing delays. Northbound I-15 near Shepherd Lane in Farmington, blocking a left lane, and you do have traffic backed up to Glover Lane. Then northbound I-15 in Salt Lake County, a medical situation in the right lane after 33rd South, backing traffic through South Salt Lake. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
And traffic is brought to you by Mountain America's Homegrown Home Loans.
It's Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I've got something important to talk to you about, your 401k. If you have changed jobs, there are two very important considerations. You don't want to leave your 401k behind, and you don't want to roll it over into your new company plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. 401ks will often have limited investments or age-based options. Since companies have to make choices to suit all employees, they may not be suited to you, which could cost you fees and money. When you roll over your 401k into an IRA, you not only keep your money growing tax deferred, but you also gain access to a world of investment options specifically designed for you. Trajan Wealth and our fiduciary advisors have helped thousands, and we can do the same for you. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. 801-899-7600.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
It's time for the KSL Give-a-thon.
We need your help raising money for sick Utah kids receiving treatment at Primary Children's Hospital.
Go to kslkids.com and donate today.
Be a smile maker. An automatic gift each month helps save the lives of children all year long.
Sponsored by J&J Garden Center in Layton.
A big thanks to other generous sponsors, including the Utah Hyundai dealers, for their amazing support of the kids at Primary Children's.
The KSL Give-a-thon. We can't do it without you. Please give today at kslkids.com.
Join Olson's and the Greenhouse Show, Ton and Me, this Saturday, May 24th from 8 to 11 at the Home Depot in Saratoga Springs. Learn some fun recipe ideas, grilling tips, and more with veggies from Olson's. Visit ogg.com. That's ogg.com.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that, and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Summer is right around the corner.
It's time to spring into summer with Soda Weight Loss. Today is a new day.
And a big day for you.
Why?
Why?
Because right now, you'll get our biggest discount of the year.
Do you know how good it feels to let go of 51 pounds of belly fat? And I did it without drugs, shots, or hunger. Because Soda Weight Loss works. Just look at all the Google reviews and all the thousands of before and after pictures.
Soda Weight Loss has one goal, and that's to help you let go of the weight for good.
So I lost 25 pounds. I was never hungry. It was very, very easy. I couldn't believe how fast the weight came off.
Now is the time to join America's #1 weight loss company for client satisfaction and results.
Hurry.
Savings won't last long. Let's go.
Get started now at sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
This is Midday with Maria Shilaos. An Eagle Mountain resident is going to try and set a record this afternoon by having a mile-long line of people standing next to each other holding motivational signs. A few years ago, as we were coming out of the pandemic, Ben Line started running around Eagle Mountain carrying a sign that reads, "I believe in you," to try and promote positivity. Today, he's inviting others to stand with him on a 1-mile trail between Cedar Valley High School and Frontier Middle School.
I don't want to be like, hey, look at me. I don't need that. I don't want that. I just know there's so much negativity out there. Just wanted to start fighting that back with positivity. And negativity, it seems like it's so much more powerful. Say one bad thing to somebody or the wrong thing, right? You can really tear down a lot of good. So I wanted to spread more hope and positivity, and I just thought this was my way of doing that. And I just hope that people realize that it's something I do just for that. I'm not doing it for anything else. I don't make money. I want people to, listen to that voice if they have a good thought to do something. And it's something positive that would uplift somebody else, that they listen to that and do what I did and go out and take action and see the awesome things that can happen from that.
Line spoke with KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff about how these motivational signs have changed him and those around him.
I started February of 2022, so it's been a little over 3 years. It's an idea I had for quite a while. I remember, I think when I looked at the dates, I had been having this idea for a little over 2 years before that, and never thought, it sounded like a good idea. I was out running, I get, kind of the inspiration, I should do that. And then I get home and I go about my day and just kind of, the day goes on and the doubts creep in. You think, that's crazy. Nobody does that. Why would I do that? That's kind of dumb. So I did that for a couple of years, and then I think it was a combination of how I was feeling in general, just, with COVID. We were coming out of COVID and lockdowns and all the political fighting and all of those types of things going on. I just thought, generally just kind of weary of society in general, just, not feeling great. And then I went out for a run, and about a mile into a run, I got the inspiration again. It just, came pretty forcefully in my mind. I thought, I've got to do this. I've got to try it. And so I decided to do it, and, still had those doubts in my mind. I didn't want people to think I was crazy, or my kids to get made fun of. Your dad's crazy out doing that. But I made the sign, I set the date, and I went out and I did it. And it was one of the, the best things, most fun things I've ever done. Well, it was really hard the first time, right? Because I got so excited, I would just hold it above my head as I would see people. And it's a whole extra load on your cardiovascular system. It went amazingly well. And then not that far, I kept doing that for a couple of weeks. And then, people started to post about it in local Facebook groups and different things like that. And just, I saw you, and we were having a conversation with my kid today on the way to school, and, about believing in themselves, and it was super positive, and thank you.
But why now?
I'm always thinking of new ways to do that. I did 2023. I did kind of the same kind of event where I just invited people to come stand with me on the side of the road. All right, let's come make a sign. We'll stand together. And I had about 30 or 40 people, and it was really cool. And I've done the, in youth groups, like in my church calling, right, with young men and things like that. I've done hey, let's go for an activity and let's go do that. So we've done that, and it's been fun. And so as I run around, town and running out towards that area, seeing the two schools, we have a middle school and a high school that are about a mile apart. And there's a big, long sidewalk in between, and there's a park and things like that. And I thought, how can we involve, the teenagers more? And, there's lots of kids struggling out there with mental health and different things. And I'm always looking for opportunity to do that. So I thought, hey, I could have my sign event, but this time we could see if we could, build a mile chain long of people in between the schools.
And they'll be gathering in about a half an hour at Cedar Valley High School. Thank you for joining me today for Midday. Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News is next.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio,
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon. It's 3 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Jeff Kaplan. We're at 79 degrees. KSL's top story.